to our match commentator tonight, Kerdy Nitsan.
David, thank you very much. Perfect timing has outcome the teams. It's a Saturday night out in Paisley, so one thing's for sure, it's unlikely to be dull. At the end of a momentous, emotional week for pretty much the whole of Scottish football, we've had quite the day in the top flight, haven't we? Wins for Falkirk, Motherwell, Rangers and Hibs means the latter two close to within a couple of points of second place Celtic, but Martin O'Neill's side can restore a 5-point cushion if they notch up their 6th successive win on this ground tonight. The champions would then sit 4 points off Hearts prior to their trip to Pittodrie tomorrow. With angry supporters causing the abandonment of the Celtic AGM on Friday, the club will be hoping it's plainer sailing this evening, at least on fields, as the fans right now to my right, the Celtic fans, hold up red cards and there's a couple of banners in protest. Plenty at stake for St Mirren too, of course, who are looking to win their first game of Premiership football since the end of September. And of course, put down a marker on what's either a dress rehearsal for, or a complete irrelevance to, next month's League Cup final at Hampden. The last time Stephen Robinson savoured victory over Celtic, his opposite number was Ange Postecoglou. It was September 2022. The Buddies line up with Shamal George in goal, a back three of Marcus Fraser, Alex Gogic, Miguel Freckleton, Jayden Richardson and Declan John as the wing-backs, Keanu Bacchus and Killian Phillips as the sitting midfielders. McMenamin's just in front of them. Conor McMenamin with Dan Lundaloo and Mika Mandron, the twin strikers. On the bench for St Mirren, 17-year-old goalkeeper Grant Thomasavicius. Interesting to see if he has to come on at all. They also have Donnelly, King, Idowu, Ayunga, Dyke, Steve Sobowal, Taylor and Mooney. Celtic have Casper Schmeichel in goal as they go into their traditional pre-match huddle. A back four of Anthony Ralston, Austin Trusty, Liam Scales and Kieran Tierney. Rail Hatati, Callum McGregor and Arnie Engels of the three-man midfield. Sebastian Tunetke, Johnny Kenny and Daisen Maeda are the front three. Kevin Clancy is about to get us underway, so I can just run through the Celtic bench. Sinisalo as the sub-goalkeeper, Nygren, Balikwisha, Yang, McCowan, Yamado, Bernardo, Murray and Donovan. We are just about good to go here in Paisley. It will be St Mirren in their traditional black and white stripes and white shorts who will kick off. Killian Phillips will do the honours for them. Celtic in their change strip, kind of dark greeny black, as they wait for kick-off. The Celtic fans packed away to our right-hand side, the rest of the ground pretty full. As we're about to get underway, there goes the whistle. We are underway here in Paisley. And an early touch for Shamal George, the St Mirren goalkeeper, who apparently has a bad back. I'm not sure a goalie wants that, but St Mirren have gone straight up on the attack and they'll look to put some early pressure on this Celtic backline. You're listening to BBC Radio Scotland with Kerdy Nitsan, Scott Allen and Stephen Craigan. St Mirren trying to stem a poor series of results against Celtic. They've lost the last 5 games in all competitions to an aggregate score of 18-3. They've started well though, St Mirren. They're in the Celtic half. Conor McMenamin takes the touch, got Liam Scale in front of him. Kieran Tierney stabs the ball away. What a week it's been for the Celtic and Scotland left back. He's on a hat-trick tonight, isn't he? Goal against Kilmarnock. Apparently scored a goal in midweek there on Tuesday. He's going 3 in a row, Kieran Tierney.
He'll do really well to top that one on Tuesday, and what that meant to many Scottish fans throughout the country. It was a really positive start from St Mirren, moved the ball well, getting it forward. I think there's a chance there for McMenamin just to put Franklin had made the run in behind Tierney. Could maybe done it on a first time and he had space in behind. I think it was Kieran Tierney to run onto and he turned it down, but a good start for St Mirren.
Really good pressing from St Mirren as the loose one from Tunetke might be picked up in the middle of the park there by Johnny Kenny. Arnie Engels back in the Celtic team, over to the right hand side to Anthony Ralston. Celtic are in the St Mirren half, wide on their right hand side. Daisen Maeda just comes infield. Different haircut these days, Maeda. Different dye on the hair. He's gone forward towards the corner flag, though. Will he keep the ball in? He will, down on the corner flag. St Mirren now have some defending to do. Celtic pressing the Buddies back. Tried to get the 1-2 there, chipped it in towards Daisen Maeda. His touch was poor. A light smattering of rain falls down. Stephen Craigan, your early impressions?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Celtic do with their front three, because I know when they played Rangers in the Premier Sports Cup semi-final, Rangers started with a back three and Celtic went 3 for 3 against them, which put their back three under all sorts of pressure. They couldn't maintain the ball and Celtic really grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. So it'll be interesting to see if Daisen Maeda actually plays right up against Freckleton, or whether he actually drops in between him and Declan John. I think that's where St Mirren will have to be careful.
It's a potent looking Celtic front three. They're all quick, Maeda, super quick. Kenny and Tuneki, and at the moment Celtic have the ball just about on the halfway line. Nice spin there from Johnny Kenny. Real new lease of life for him as Tuneki now hugs the left-hand touchline. He's about 20 yards from the byline. He's got some Mirren player for company. He's got 3 in fact as they try and crowd him out. He has to go back. Callum McGregor will look to Kieran Tierney down the left-hand side, tried to play him in. That was well read, but still Celtic have it with Tuneki down near the corner flag on the left-hand side. Twisting and turning, goes on the right foot, plays the ball to the edge of the area. Anthony Ralston looks up and sees Maeda, who wants to play a cute 1-2, which Alex Gogic will just stab away towards Mika Mandron, who will try and get something underway with Declan John over on that left-hand side. Austin Trusty comes over and knocks the ball out for a throw-in to St Mirren. We've played 3 goalless minutes so far. It's pretty high energy stuff though, it's been decent.
Yeah, and I think that phase of the ball.
Yeah, we'll just break off there because St Mirren try and come forward. Good play from Lundaloo. McMenamin's there, he'll have Declan John over on that left-hand side. He'll just have to turn back though and just calm things down from a St Mirren point of view. Nice 1-2. Can Declan John get the cross in for St Mirren? It's decent. Trusty will head away towards Anthony Ralston, but he didn't quite read that header. The St Mirren fans are encouraged. They've seen their team play pretty well in these opening 3.5 goalless minutes as the north bank of St Mirren fans let off a wee smoke bomb and jump up and down there, making all the noise so far in these opening 4 minutes. It's St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. The home side has a throw-in over on that left-hand side, right in front of their band of ultras. And the long throw-in is back in vogue, isn't it, in British football? We're about to have one right now as Kasper Schmeichel just makes a few adjustments to the Celtic backline. In comes the throw-in just now. Mandron takes it, he's gone down. No one's claiming anything, but St Mirren still have it inside the Celtic box. Can the Saints make hay early here? They've gone all the way back though to the halfway line. St Mirren down this right-hand side now. Try to play the ball forward there to Killian Phillips. They'll get a corner kick though, will they? That's good play from St Mirren. Jaden Richardson playing the ball off Kieran Tierney, and the first corner of the game after 4.5 minutes goes to St Mirren.
Really good for St Mirren. Obviously worked it from the long throw, breaks down and just heave it back into the box. They were patient, they worked it back down this right hand side and have won a corner. I've been really impressed with the start St Mirren have made.
And also they're an aggressive side. They're probably bigger physically than what Celtic are. So what I'm saying ahead of the game is, when you get the chance to put the ball in the box, make sure you deliver with pristine quality.
I saw St Mirren play really well here against Hearts in a fantastic 2-2 draw. They started this game really well as well. In comes the corner kick. It's poor though. Celtic captain Callum McGregor just scoops the ball away towards halfway. It'll go all the way back towards the centre circle, and all of a sudden the ball's back with the St Mirren goalkeeper Shamal George, whose back is holding up okay in his opening 5 minutes or so.
You would think with the Tuesday night that Kasper Schmeichel had, just purely from a St Mirren point of view, and you had a chance to put him under pressure straight from a set piece, be a left footer looking to get it right under the crossbar and make him have to save it, then followed up by a really disappointing delivery.
I'm not sure about you guys, I've still got visions of that Kenny McLean ball sailing over his head and nestling into the back of the net from the halfway line as Scotland claim that sensational place in next summer's World Cup. As Kieran Tierney, who scored the 3rd goal, takes a poor touch, unusual for him.
Stephen Stilty got to Italy, go to Italy for a playoff.
Nervous, Stephen?
No, I will become March, but not tonight.
At least you're there. We do have the interesting prospect of all the home nations potentially being at the World Cup. Wales in the playoffs, Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland. St Mirren try and keep the pressure on Celtic here. They've started this game well. We've played 6 minutes at St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, but St Mirren have had most of the ball. Celtic have just hacked that away there pretty aimlessly. Killian Phillips takes a nice touch and plays a lovely crossfield pass over to the left-hand side to Declan John, who thinks about delivering the ball, tries to hit the byline. In comes the cross, it's a good one! Oh my goodness, how did St Mirren not get a touch there? There are 2 players holding the head on the goal line. That was about half an inch away from somebody's boot, making that 1-0 to St Mirren. Celtic survive.
Unbelievable fallout from Killian Phillips to start the move on the volley. He's pinged it out wide, and then Declan John, very dynamic down that left-hand side, flashes that ball across. I think it just misses Jaden Richardson there, who's doing what the opposite fullback should do, and at the back post, and it just smashes past them.
Promising signs.
What a chance
for St Mirren. First chance of the game goes their way, agonisingly close to an early lead. And once again, they're pressing Celtic really well. Celtic are struggling to get the ball out of their own half at the moment. Terrific start from St Mirren. 7 minutes played, 0-0 though. They did have that chance. a few moments ago. They're trying to create another one. Really good play down there, left-hand side. They've just about overdone it there. That was Keanu Bacchus. Nice footwork from him in the middle of the park. And Anthony Ralston might get in trouble here. He's chipped the ball back to his goalkeeper right on the goal line. Kasper Schmeichel coolly plays it out towards one of his teammates. It was Johnny Kenny taking a poor touch. Once again, St Mirren have the ball, and they are completely dominating these opening 8 minutes. Lovely ball over to this right-hand side. Jaden Richardson, good touch. Oh, he tried to drive that across, and Lundelu looks at him in absolute frustration. Gives him a little bit of earache, saying, I needed a better ball, mate, because I was unmarked.
Fantastic switch of play from Alex Gogic. I don't know why Jaden Richardson goes for that execution. There's space there, just wrap your foot around it, make Celtic defend. I think it's Mandaron who's in the box just waiting for a ball being flashed across, chooses the wrong execution, goes out for a goal kick to Celtic.
The thing is, you know Celtic are going to be better, so when you're on top and your opportunities are coming and you've got a chance to fizz it across goal, you've got to take them, because Celtic will be dominant at some stage in the game and they will have the chances. So that'll be the frustrating part from Stephen Robinson. They've started well, but they haven't managed to get the breakthrough.
Kieran Tierney's been robbed there by the really industrious Killian Phillips, whose praises were being sung by his manager Stephen Robinson, saying that the Republic of Ireland must have a heck of a good squad if Killian Phillips can't get in it. That was Stephen Robinson's opinion.
It's probably not the best time to say it after you beat Portugal. You maybe have to let it sit for a couple of months, but you're right, he's been sensational since he came to St Mirren. I know at Aberdeen they weren't overly fussed on him, but he just suits how they play. He gets that freedom to go and press and be aggressive and attack.
We do have a couple of Republic of Ireland players in the Celtic team. Liam Scales and Johnny Kenny both played in that wonderful win over Hungary. That's put the Republic into a playoff against the Czech Republic, I think it is. More on that later as St Mirren try and come forward. There is a scenario where the Republic played Denmark, and potentially more agony for Kasper Schmeichel, who has to come into play at the moment, and he's pretty much straight away played in Dyson Maida. He's tackled straight away. The really good energy from St Mirren. They are all over Celtic in these opening 9.5 goalless minutes, and they're trying to come forward once again. Austin Trusty just mopped up at the back for Celtic, who will now try and spring a counter-attack. Nice ball from Rio Hatate into Tuneki, who's running into space. Jaden Richardson, though, just sprints back to make sure he's got two St Mirren players in front of him, and the Tunisian international, who'll also be going to the World Cup. He has to come back to Hatate, who spreads it across field. Celtic trying to enjoy some possession now in St Mirren's half for pretty much the first time in these opening 10 minutes. Maida into Engels. He's too loose though. He's pickpocketed, and St Mirren have a couple of players around pretty much every Celtic player when they have the ball. Their energy so far is absolutely fantastic. Now, why has Lundelu just booted that ball out the park?
I think he thought he was offside.
Well,
but actually, having looked over his shoulder, I think Liam Scales was a little bit deeper than him, so he actually would have been onside, which is a really strange decision. I think it's petulant, to say the least. It's almost a bit disrespectful to your teammates.
As if give me it quicker, wasn't it?
I can't remember the last time I saw that. There wasn't a kids' game. In any case, we are back underway. We've played 10.5 minutes. It's St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, but the home side have started by far the better. They had that early chance in the first few minutes, that wonderful Declan John cross. It was nearly nudged in for an opening goal, but now Celtic have Tuneki bearing in on the St Mirren box. A couple of step overs from him, thinks about going to the byline. Jaden Richardson makes him come back. Kieran Tierney will give it back to Tuneki right on the edge of the penalty area, thinks about a shot, instead goes to Hatate. Anthony Ralston outside the area. He'll chip a ball, which is easy for the goalkeeper. Poor execution there from Anthony Ralston. And the long kick is difficult for Trusty. He's let it bounce once, twice, three times. Then he nods it to Kasper Schmeichel. And again, he's quickly underway to Ralston. Good energy about both teams at the moment. They're not hanging about either side. Celtic into the St Mirren half on this left-hand side with the left-back Kieran Tierney goes infield to Rio Hatate. Once again, he's crowded out by 2 or 3 St Mirren players, one of whom is Keanu Bacchus. St Mirren are not giving Celtic a minute's peace here. Tierney back to Scales, back to Kasper Schmeichel. Applause from the St Mirren manager Stephen Robinson and his assistant Brian Kerr. They are absolutely thrilled with the way their team has started these opening 12 minutes or so, as Kasper Schmeichel looks for an option on this left-hand side. Liam Scales out to Kieran Tierney. St Mirren once again penning Celtic back. It's all the way back to the Celtic goalkeeper. The captain, Callum McGregor, has the ball on the edge of his own area. Celtic struggling to get out. Johnny Kenny takes a touch. There are 2 St Mirren players around him. Once again, Liam Scales chips the ball forward to Rio Hatate. Celtic have tried to play out of this press, and they've been robbed once again. A round of applause from the St Mirren fans around about us. The St Mirren are playing really well.
Well, they're forcing Celtic to try and play through them. Celtic are just looking for a little bit of composure. I think they're hoping the game will just settle and the intensity will come out of it. But for the next 5 or 10 minutes, it's not going to. So they're going to have to find a way to not just stay competitive, but actually get some sort of ownership of the game. Callum McGregor has hardly had a touch of the ball. They've just been pressing and getting harried all the time.
Really impressive from St Mirren so far. There's a foul, there isn't. No play on, says the referee. He's pulled it back now, I thought so. He did clatter into Mika Mandron on a wee bit late, did Liam Scales. Kevin Clancy had a wee wait to see if there was an advantage, but no.
Well, I think St Mirren will be happy with that, take the set piece. So looking for a better delivery than we got from the corner, but looking at Celtic, I think that was the first time they made 9 or 10 passes there, and then the final one into Hatate, it's the wrong side, the side that wasn't protected from the opponent, and then it breaks down. And that, if it was to continue in that fashion, that's where Celtic would get frustrated with. They've got to offer a run in behind, and that's where you would think Maeda coming in from that side, make that run across, and then in behind and Alex Gogic give them something different to worry about.
13 minutes played here at the SMISA in Paisley. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. They have a free kick wide on their right hand side, midway inside the Celtic half. Declan Johns over it for the left-footed curler. Kanu Bacchus maybe fancies it as well. A one-man wall in Sebastian Tunetke. Kasper Schmeichel, all in green, the Celtic goalie, is watching it, and it comes. It's not close to any St Mirren players. Well, that's pretty unlike St Mirren. They're normally pretty good with these set pieces, and I don't think the manager, Stephen Rompton, even though he's applauding, will be all that happy with that.
It actually wasn't a bad area where he put the ball, to be honest. I just didn't think any St Mirren players got released from one of the Celtic players marking them to go and attack the ball. But that's 2 set pieces. Yeah, you're right, Stephen Rompton will be disappointed. That will be an area where they think they can hurt Celtic.
A nervy touch there for Austin Trusty, who didn't put much on that to Anthony Ralston. Celtic, and another poor touch from Liam Scales. Can Kieran Tierney get the ball out of his own half for Celtic? He's looking for options, one of whom is Tunetke. He's got 2 players around him though, one of whom is Jaden Richardson. Really good play from the Tunisian. Out to Austin Trusty. Now he's across the halfway line. Over on that right hand side now on the right wing is Daisen Maeda. He's got Ralston overlapping. Maeda looks up, sees Engels. Back to Hatate, back to Maeda, edge of the area. Kieran Tierney. He's being urged to shoot by the Celtic fans. He doesn't. He goes to wide left to Tunetke. Tunetke has Jaden Richardson in front of him. Tunetke with the shot! Just over the crossbar. First really good passage of play from Celtic. Ends with Sebastian Tunetke just inches over the crossbar with the right foot shot, and relief in the stands around us as it still remains St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
And that's where he wants to be. He wants to be 1v1, edging into the 18-yard box, because the defender then can't put a lazy leg out. He can shift the ball very, very quickly. Tunetke, he can go in the outside in his left, but he favours his right, coming off that left-hand side, just so he can try and shape it towards the far corner. I think Jaden Richardson's been lucky. He gets inside, he just gets too much on it, Tunetke. Whether he's going for too much power or not, I don't know. It probably would have been easier just to cushion it or kind of glance it into the corner, but it gets too much power. There's a warning sign for the home team.
Got a couple of goals already. Sebastian Tunetke, tricky left winger. He's made a good impact.
I just think for me there, from a St Mirren point of view, I think the Celtic had worked the ball from side to side, so St Mirren did have the numbers back. When he does go by Richardson, there's got to be someone there to meet Tunetke and get out and stop the shot. That's the key. There's going to be times where you do lose the one-on-one duels, whether it's a dribble or physicality in the middle of the park, or in that final third that we just seen there with Tunetke. If you are beaten, there has to be someone then coming out and engaging the ball.
16 minutes nearly played here in Paisley. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. It's been a decent start to the match, mainly from St Mirren, but that Tunetke shot that nearly grazed Shamal George's crossbar. It's a little warning sign for St Mirren, in particular because they have had a couple of chances, but they've not been able to make anything count. Once again, Tunetke's muscled out of it. Jaden Richardson runs into Kieran Tierney, literally. Tunetke to Hatate, out to this touchline right in front of us, on the halfway line. Celtic, some intricate passing. Tunetke, well, he gave it away, but he's lucky because the ball comes back Celtic's way, and they'll build from the back once again. Liam Scales out to his centre-half partner Austin Trusty, who played for America in a 5-1 win over Uruguay in their match through the week. So any Scotland fans thinking they might fancy the USA in their group, as St Mirren now will try and come forward. That's a good looking ball. Kasper Schmeichel comes out to the edge of his area though.
Great idea. See what was it made the run there?
Conor McMenamin.
Yeah, Conor McMenamin tried to run from deep, being the third man. A flighty ball over the top from Declan John, but you could see how high the Celtic line was. I think it was Mandron who dropped. Trusty goes with him, and if McMenamin can just time that and he can get execution on the pass, it's it's an opportunity to get behind that Celtic defence.
And I think that's what Conor McMillan gives you in that number 10 role, because he's a forward-thinking player. He's not a midfield player who wants to play behind the ball. He wants to gamble, he wants to get himself into the box. When the two centre-forwards drop deep, there's space then for him to go and be that third-man run.
The voice of Stephen Craigan, he's with me, Kerdy Nitsan and Scott Allen on BBC Radio Scotland. Delighted to bring you live coverage of St Mirren against Celtic. We have played 17 and a half goalless minutes, but St Mirren right now fancy their chances of maybe creating something. Mandron trying to get the better of Trusty, who's fallen. Mandron's done well here. In comes the cross. Well, I'm not sure the trade description actually would allow me to call that a cross. It goes aimlessly wide for a goal kick. 18 minutes played. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, and Kasper Schmeichel doesn't hang about. There is a good energy and tempo to this game from both teams. St Mirren, though, they're so well organised and disciplined that anytime Celtic try and build the ball through the thirds of the pitch, they have a black and white wall in front of them, pushing them back. Earlier today we brought you Dundee United 0, Falkirk 3, Hibs 2, Dundee 0, Kilmarnock 1, Motherwell 3, Rangers 2, Livingston 1, and a cracking game in the Championship as well. Partick Thistle 2, St Johnstone 1. Tomorrow it's Aberdeen against Hearts. Right now it's St Mirren against Celtic, and it's goalless.
I have to say, it's just the sheer pressure of the St Mirren players, which means Celtic aren't getting the chance to have 3-4 touches in the ball and just casually stroll through the game. Everything they're having to do and every pass they're making, they're having to earn it, because there's a black and white jersey pressing all the time. Now
a loose pass from St Mirren there, and Tuneke, as he fouled there, surely he is. Is that a yellow card? I'm guessing it will be. Out comes a yellow card from Kevin Clancy for Marcus Fraser, who just basically made a back for Sebastian Tuneke, who otherwise might have been in there.
I'm not too sure who made the square pass, but that's criminal. What they talk about criminal in football. In your own half, trying to play a square ball across the middle of the pitch, you're just asking for someone to come and press it or go and intercept it, particularly if the execution is not right. It wasn't. Marcus Fraser was all over the place, but it's because of the pass to him. So I think he'd done the right thing. He had to go and make the foul, but with 70 minutes left, there's a long way to go in the yellow.
If you're playing that pass, Steve, it's got to be played at pace and to the safe side, so that you're taking it away from the incoming opponent. Tuneke, obviously, you know, he's got that little bit of quality, tries to shift it over Marcus Fraser's leg. He actually does well. It's actually a good foul.
Free kick is taken quickly, and the man who won it, Tuneke, is on the ball. He has 3 St Mirren players, count them, all around him, so he has to go back the way. Again, you have to admire St Mirren's energy, discipline and organisation. They've got quality as well. We've seen that in these opening stages, but with nearly 20 minutes played here, it's been pretty entertaining, but it's goalless so far, as the Celtic captain Callum McGregor has to drop deep into his own half to pick the ball up and maybe start something for Celtic. Rio Hatate crosses the halfway line on this left hand side. He has Kieran Tierney in an advanced position, hugging the touchline. Tierney into Tuneke to Callum McGregor, midway inside the St Mirren half, almost in the middle of the pitch. Slap bang in the middle is Austin Trusty. He's in the centre circle inside the St Mirren half. He's looking for options, one of whom is Johnny Kenny. He's come a long way back to get the ball, plays it out to the right hand side though. Celtic just outside the area with Dyson Maeda, and Anthony Ralston comes inside, thinks about the cross, comes across instead to Kieran Tierney, and now to Sebastian Tuneke for Celtic, just outside the St Mirren penalty area. Goes inside on his right foot once again. Still Tuneke. He's being forced along the edge of the 18-yard line though, and now Kieran Tierney has it right on the edge of the box, looking for options. He tries a sort of cross shot. It's well defended though by St Mirren. Not for the first time in this match. They just push Celtic back.
You see that time there when Tuneke comes inside to get on his right foot. He's met by 2 St Mirren players, and that's what they have to do. They have to make sure they're disciplined to get out the box, stop that shot. I think it was Celtic, when you're speaking about the intensity of St Mirren, I think as a Celtic team coming here, how do you take that intensity away from them? Just keeping the ball moving it side to side, but doing it with a speed. I think whenever it comes back, maybe once or twice, they're then looking to go forward instead of just being patient with it. Scales and Trusty look to force these straight ones in. You're forcing these straight ones into Central Park against St Mirren. That is what they're set up for. They have to be extra patient tonight, so that the distances them and St Mirren are pressing become bigger and Celtic can play through.
St Mirren were nearly in there. Celtic have had to do quite a lot of defending, and some of it hasn't been all that convincing. However, they've just about got away with that. Now Tuneke for Celtic across the halfway line. He's well marshalled by Marcus Fraser. He knew the Tunisian was going left, and he just let him run the ball out of play, throw in St Mirren.
I think we've seen already the importance of Mikel Mandron and Dan Lundulu. Their physical presence, it keeps the two Celtic centre-halves on their toes. They know they're not, they don't have cover. It's got to be man for man. Mandron's won a couple of headers, Lundulu's ran beyond a couple of times, so they certainly have them on edge.
Lundulu 3 in his last 4 for St Mirren. Nicky Mandron in all competitions, he's got 8 this season. They do know how to score a goal, St Mirren.
They never give you a comfy header either, do they, Stephen? Anytime the ball goes up, a Celtic player trust their skills, they know they're going to get contact.
It's just their presence, isn't it? They know how to back in, they know how to win the flicks and even win fouls.
Keanu Bacchus for St Mirren inside his own half. He'll play the ball forward. A really nice pass as well to Mandron. His feet are tidy. They take him away from Liam Scales and Arnie Engels. Over on that left hand side, Declan John is almost on halfway. St Mirren just take a little breather and they come back to go forward. Gogic into midfield to Phillips, and he actually goes all the way back to Shamal George, who's been a virtual spectator, the St Mirren goalkeeper, who was a very late decision according to his manager Stephen Robinson. I think it's a slightly dodgy back, but he didn't want to miss this one. He hasn't actually had too much to do apart from breathing a sigh of relief as that Sebastian Tunecki shot nearly grazed his crossbar. Celtic trying to come forward now with Kieran Tierney on their left hand side. Tunecki right beside the touchline, has to come infield though. So there are again a couple of St Mirren players blocking his path. Liam Scales, not sure he wanted that pass, but he's done well. Scales into Callum McGregor, who's got a little bit of space in which to work, and he goes over to the right hand side to Ralston. Now on the other right touchline, it's Dyson Maeder trying to get up ahead of steam, thinking about going to the byline, puts his foot on the ball and has to come back. Again, good defending from St Mirren. You can hear the St Mirren bench bellowing out instructions there. Kieran Tierney, left-footed, decent looking cross, but Alex Gogic is there for St Mirren. Nice little touch there as well as Bacchus spins, but he's given it away. Has he? Well, he has, but the referee spotted it. I think maybe Keanu Bacchus has his jersey tugged there. Referee Kevin Clancy happy to give the free kick. 24 minutes played, still 0-0.
But Kerry, that's what I just spoke about there. Celtic work it down the right hand side with Maeda, comes back into Callum McGregor, he switches out to Tierney. Tierney just has to open up and feed Tunecki, and then you're moving the St Mirren midfield and defenders. Kieran Tierney puts in without moving anybody, and it's the St Mirren defender just walking on to clear it. It's too easy. You have to be patient. Move out to Tunecki. Can you drag someone over, back across, and then the spaces become bigger and you can go and exploit it.
Anything Celtic get this evening you think is going to be really hard won, given the way St Mirren have gone about their business in his opening nearly 25 minutes. They're attacking Celtic right now near the corner flag on the right hand side. In comes across from Fraser. Mandron's there, he's given one of the Celtic players a wee nudge. The referee saw the foul, was waiting to see what happened. There's Anthony Ralston who's on the deck. Free kick Celtic. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it's good play again by St Mirren, isn't it? Conor McMenamin on the right hand side gets Callum McGregor out of position, feeds it back nicely to Marcus Fraser. I mean, there was minimal contact, I think, on Tony Ralston from Mikael Mandron, but it's just a little reminder to know that when the cross is coming in, I'm going to be standing right behind you if you're not on your toes.
Once again, the St Mirren press is very high. Celtic under pressure. Liam Scales into Johnny Kenny, who's come quite deep into the centre circle. Nicely played by Celtic. They have beaten that press, and now Anthony Ralston crosses the halfway line on that right hand side, switches the play to his fellow fullback Kieran Tierney, who's also in an advanced position. Celtic now are about 20 yards from the byline on this left hand side. Tunecki has the usual 2 St Mirren players for company, and he spreads it over to the right hand side where Ralston just about gets a touch on the ball towards Dyson Maeda, and once again St Mirren contain the threat and they push Celtic back towards the halfway line. Austin Trusty's a bit indecisive. He's taken a couple of touches, but he's done well. Finds Kieran Tierney on his left hand side over to Tunecki. Patient football from Celtic. The Tunisian thinks about having a run at Jaden Richardson, instead comes inside. How many times have I said that? And he's opening 26 minutes or so. Once again, Kieran Tierney is crowded out. Lundulu presses Scales. Mandron presses Trusty. John presses Ralston. St Mirren are doing well here. Celtic are having to go back. Impressive pressing and impressive hard work from St Mirren. Celtic are trying to play football around them, but they're not being allowed to.
That's incredible discipline from St Mirren. There's a lot of concentration, a lot of understanding, a lot of work. You know, this doesn't just happen by chance. This is by design. The players understand the rules, the triggers of when to go. You try and set traps, you try and win the ball. Celtic spare players are actually Tony Ralston and Kieran Tierney in possession. So if you can switch the ball very quickly ahead of the game, you can get a 2v1 overload on the far side. If it takes you 4 passes to switch the play, it's going to be shut off. You've got to do it a little bit quicker.
Tony Ralston had the opportunity there on his left foot and turned against it, went back with the ball. Kieran Tierney was standing in a lovely position. If you can find him, and you have to be brave in playing it. I think it's risk with reward for Celtic if you get out to either full back, then there is space if they step onto the play. St Mirren, when you're looking at them out of possession, it's, as Stephen said, it is very disciplined, the triggers there, but it's not done at a jogging pace. They're releasing with some real pace, and that's what then forces the pressure on Celtic, and they start rushing the pass, and then it goes forward, and then they can pick up the seconds.
Kasper Schmeichel chipped the ball forward towards Johnny Kenny, and Celtic have a promising sort of semi-counter attack on here until, of course, St Mirren crowd them out, and as they usually do, and certainly as they have done in these opening 27 goalless minutes, win the ball back. The St Mirren fans are claiming for a free kick that the referee's not going to give, because St Mirren are playing the advantage and are going to get a corner kick for their troubles. Once again, good pressure and pressing from St Mirren, and Celtic, well, they're struggling to contain the St Mirren wave.
I think it was Miguel Fregelton that just stepped into the game, just drove right past Rio Hatate. Now, if he stops the play, he probably books Rio Hatate for stopping a promising attack, but he allows him to go. I mean, my feeling should be you go back and book him anyway, because you think it's a yellow card, but really good aggressive play once again, and Celtic at times are struggling to keep up with the St Mirren players, which is strange. It's
another St Mirren corner. This time it's over on the left-hand side, so it's going to be an outswinger, I think, from Declan John. Referee Kevin Clancy isn't happy with something. He's coming to have a word with Austin Trusty and Arnie Engels and 3 St Mirren players. There's a little bit of pushing and jostling. The referee's watching them as Declan John takes the corner kick now. It's a good one, the header comes in, half a chance for St Mirren there. Celtic just about clear their lines. St Mirren fans urging the shot to come in, and it's just wide. There's a few oohs and ahs. Kasper Schmeichel pretty much had it covered. It was Conor McMenamin on the edge of the area. Great contact, just wide. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
I think the minute he strikes it, we all just looked at the back of the net, just waiting for it to bulge. I mean, I'm sure the Celtic fans got a bird's eye view of it, but certainly from where we are on the side of the pitch, it was a great touch. Gets it out of his feet, just whizzes past the post, and you get the fact that Kasper Schmeichel just watched it go. He's thinking, is it going to nestle in the back of the net? Unfortunately for Celtic, it didn't.
They're knocking on the door, St Mirren. They just can't quite prise it open at the moment, and they'll have to watch for the danger from Celtic as well, because down this left-hand side in particular, Celtic have looked threatening as Kieran Tierney tries to play in Johnny Kenny. It's not a bad ball. It was just a little bit overcooked from Kieran Tierney. Nice run from Johnny Kenny, but it's right through into the arms of Shamal George.
Yeah, it was a good idea from Tierney. Nice shape on it. Just trying to find Johnny Kenny off the back of Gogic. That runs through to Shamal George. Celtic have to do more to try and match this intent.
And they've given the ball away there. Well, is that Lundeloo, who has given some of his teammates a couple of pelters for balls that were not delivered. He's just hoofed the ball for the second time out of play. Celtic have a throw-in down near that corner.
I think this time he didn't mean it.
Yeah,
actually meant it the last time.
That one wasn't deliberate.
If something comes of this, a few of his teammates might have a word with him. Celtic have it with Tuneki on this left-hand side. He's about 18 yards from goal, close to the corner flag on his left-hand side. Again, 2 St Mirren bodies for company, so he has to come back to Tierney. Tierney goes to the back post, and the header comes in, and St Mirren clear their lines. The referee has given an offside. The linesman's called it, actually. A couple of St Mirren players applaud the decision. We have played half an hour here at St Mirren. It's been pretty good, but it's goalless.
I have to say, it's nice to see Celtic a little bit uncomfortable in a domestic game, just to see how they're going to work it out, because St Mirren have been ratting about, they've been breaking up play. You're looking at Callum McGregor, Arnie Engels, Rio Hatate. They're the 3 players in particular who have to give Celtic ownership of the game. How are you going to make it happen? What are you going to do? Where are you going to find your space? So I think it's really nice to stand and watch Callum McGregor trying to orchestrate his team and to get the foothold in the game.
It's a really good word to use, uncomfortable. It's exactly what St Mirren have made Celtic, with their energy, with their pressing, and with the quality of some of their play. The goalkeeper, Shamal George, goes right-footed cross-field. It's kept in, and Lundeloo should pick this up. In fact, Rodson Trusty will just about get there, and Celtic, through the right back, Anthony Ralston, will look for options. Tuneki's got a hand up over on this side, but it's going to take maybe 3 or 4 passes to get to him. Goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel gives it to his centre-half Austin Trusty, the American international, and there's a mistake there by Ralston. That's a poor attempted pass again. The press from St Mirren is so good. Ralston was hurried and hassled into that, nearly gave it to Lundeloo, but it came off him for a goal kick, which is taken quickly. 31 goalless minutes played here in Paisley. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, but it's the champions who are struggling at the moment to get too much in the way of clear-cut chances. They've given the ball away once again, not once but twice, but Bazamaid, a good hassling for him now. Johnny Kenny for Celtic tries to go with the first-time shot. Oh my goodness me. Well, he Now, is that a golfing shank, maybe? It came right off the, I don't know, the outside of his right boot, nowhere near the goal. Some ironic cheers from the St Mirren fans. He'll need a lot more quality than that, Johnny Kenny, well though he has played recently. 0-0.
It's a nice slip pass from Hatate, first time into the space for Johnny Kenny. Just think he's going to snapshot it across the goal. He completely miscues that, but Celtic just haven't got going. The amount of space Kieran Tierney's in when Celtic are building down the right hand side, they have, whether it's Callum McGregor or Tony Ralston on his left foot at times, you have to be brave, you have to find the spare man. That is the outball for Celtic when St Mirren are pressing you hard, and it's the same on this side with Tony Ralston.
The St Mirren fans wanted the free kick there that wasn't coming from referee Kevin Clancy, so Celtic will have a throw in pretty much exactly on the halfway line. Kieran Tierney's just jogged past his manager Martin O'Neill. He's got his left hand up, just saying, calm things down, son. Stephen Robinson there as well, and his assistant Brian Kerr are out having a chat with the fourth official. They get such eric, the fourth officials, don't they, from both dugouts. Celtic have played some nice football here. It's a good touch from Kenny. Well, I say it was a good touch, he just got it under his feet, but he's done well. He's made up for his wee mistake there. Tunecki now thinks about attacking the byline. He's done well. Still Tunecki looks for options. Arnie Engels on the edge of the area. He's crowded out though, comes back out to this left hand side. Kieran Tierney, now he's inside the area, played in. Gogic takes a touch and then volleys the ball away. Callum McGregor, the Celtic captain, headers the ball, but it's going to fall. It should fall for Lundaloo, but he's too slow there, Lundaloo. He just didn't really look committed enough, and Celtic stepped in, took the ball off his feet, and it was Ralston who dispossessed him, and it's Anthony Ralston who has the ball now. Gives it to Dyson Maeda on that right hand side. Not a lot has come down the Celtic right, interestingly. Ralston and Maeda over on that side. It's all come through the kind of Scales, Tierney, Tunecki axis on this left. Scales changes things up, goes long, looking for the run of Johnny Kenny. Alex Gogic will get that ball all day long. St Mirren take a couple of touches. Killian Phillips goes back to his goalkeeper. That's pretty composed play from the Irishman. He's given his goalkeeper the option to chip the ball up towards Mandron on halfway. Good header from Scales. Johnny Kenny's a mile offside, so Celtic just have to wait. Now Tunecki on the halfway line. Again, St Mirren back in their shape, organised, disciplined, and Celtic through Scales go across field. Ralston, he's immediately closed down by Declan John. Gets it to Dyson Maeda, though he doesn't take a great touch. Dyson Maeda, and that's easily away for a throw into Celtic, as all of a sudden we come within 10 minutes of the half-time whistle. It's been pretty decent here.
It's flew past, hasn't it? Really has. It's been a really intriguing game. There's no doubt Celtic have got better players, they've got better quality on the ball, but they haven't had the chance to show it tonight because of St Mirren's structure against the ball, how they're set up. We talked about being aligned and all moving at the same time. It's really intriguing from where we are to see how it's going to pan out. It's almost like a game of chess at times when Celtic have the ball.
They've forced a mistake from Kieran Tierney. There are 4 players around them now. St Mirren have almost a 5-on-5 here. Can they make it count? They can't. Ralston's done well there. He's halted it, but still down this right hand side. Jaden Richardson goes down. St Mirren fans want a penalty that I don't think is coming. The referee pretty happy to play on. Clearly the video assistant referee and his chums will have a look at that. We're playing on though.
Not
Celtic
again,
have
surely.
the ball. Arnie Engels slows things down. Sebastian Tunecki. Stephen Robinson isn't happy. He wants something. The check has been complete and clear. That's a poor ball though from Kieran Tierney, who's maybe not quite recovered from, I don't know, either the celebrations of the Scotland win or his goal or the emotions of the week. There's been a couple of loose moments from him. However, Celtic still have the ball until Alex Gogic steps in there for St Mirren. Now Lundaloo tries to hassle and harry Austin Trusty, who just lets the ball drop out for a throw-in, takes it quickly to his goalkeeper. A few of the St Mirren fans around us still unhappy that their side didn't get a penalty, but referee Kevin Clancy was happy that nothing was doing. His video assistant referee Matthew McDermott of a similar mind. So on we play. We're within 10 minutes of the half-time whistle. It's goalless here in Paisley. You're listening to BBC Radio Scotland. Stephen Craigan, Scott Allen and Kerry Nidsan bringing you live coverage of St Mirren against Celtic, and it has been good, particularly from the home side. My question is, how on earth have they not won a Premiership game since September the 27th?
Yeah, well, you said it after the Hearts game as well. When you think now they've won, that's the only point they've taken out of 15. And some of the performances have been good. They've played well, particularly tonight. You know, everything about their play. Maybe it's just that final touch, that final pass, that final cross that's let them down when they got themselves into good positions. But certainly, in large parts of the game, they've been fine.
Stay with Johnny Kenny. He knows that Gogic is pressure. Just back in. Let the ball hit off. Yep, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely fine. St Mirren down this right hand side. They might have a chance to get a shot on goal, but Celtic got pretty much everyone back except Johnny Kenny now. Rio Hatate strides through the midfield with the ball. Thinks about the pass and tries to go left. Surely that's a handball. Surely, goodness me. Well, there's been lots of chat about if the referee didn't give that for handball, I'd have put this microphone down and just given up.
He thought about it.
You suspect it's a booking as well, because he's deliberately tried to stop the play. I mean, as much as I was saying earlier on that Rio Hatate should have been booked, that's a booking as well. And players and managers just want a little bit of consistency, because a similar incident will happen later in the game and he books someone, and that's where the frustration kicks in. Maybe
he was just waiting to see if Celtic were going to make an advantage count. In any case, the free kick was given, it has been taken, and Celtic have given the ball away, not for the first time. Daizen Maeda is not at his best 37 or so minutes.
The one thing about Daizen Maeda playing on the right hand side, when it is played to his left foot, he doesn't quite have the same effect as his right when he's trying to play that round the corner. With his left, the quality isn't the same as he possesses in his right, and that's what you're seeing. There's happened a couple of times. He's trying to play that first time pass and just hasn't quite had the execution.
There's a familiar pattern developing here where St Mirren have pressed Celtic all the way back to their own box, and their high press means that Liam Scales has just chipped the ball forward, and Marcus Fraser picks up easy possession for St Mirren. Lundaloo can't get hold of it, allows Liam Scales to head the ball out for a throw in to St Mirren. Jaden Richardson right in front of us.
See, the problem is, Kerry, when the Celtic centre halves are getting the ball, Callum McGregor is man-for-man marked, Rio Hatate man-for-man marked, Arne Engels man-for-man marked, and they're facing their own goal. So anything straight into their feet, the St Mirren players are going to nibble at it. So Liam Scales and Austin Trusty are having to try and find a pass over the top, and their execution of pass hasn't been good enough into the feet of Johnny Kenny, or into Maeda, or into Tonetke.
I think in that situation, though, if you've got Maeda, touchline, and Tonetke, then the obvious pass is dropped into Johnny Kenny, but it's got to go up in quality, and at the same time it's the one part of his game that still needs a lot of work. I would say he's finishing, we know he can finish, but can he take the ball under real pressure off a guy like Alex Gogic? He's never giving you a clear touch, he's always nudging you, whether it's his knee or his elbow, and that's a massive learning curve for a player like Johnny Kenny.
The howls of derision you're hearing in the background are every single St Mirren supporter, to a man, woman and child, berating referee Kevin Clancy for giving Celtic a free kick deep inside their own half for a foul by Declan John. But again, the St Mirren high press is in effect. Celtic are having to work really hard for any decent possession of the football in any decent areas. Ralston goes long, and there's absolutely nobody up there. Stephen Craigan, your uncomfortable word is looking better by the minute.
Yeah, and it's not about looking better. The one thing you wouldn't normally say about a Celtic team is they're lacking a little bit of imagination. That's exactly what they're lacking. Tony Ralston's give the ball away continually. He's trying to force the ball in the areas when it's not on to force it. That just comes from pressure from the opposition, putting you in the back foot, blocking off your passing options. There's the pass. Switch from right to left to left to right, fullback to fullback. That's the outball. But Celtic haven't utilised it enough.
Their one decent outlet so far in this game has been Sebastian Tonetke, the Tunisian international winger, who's on the ball once again. He tries to come inside Jaden Richardson, but Richardson has played really well as well. He hasn't given him a minute's peace, and he has Marcus Fraser helping him double up as well. So St Mirren still managed to contain Celtic as we come within 5 minutes of the half-time whistle, and it's a loose-ish pass that Austin Trusty will do well to get. Good pressing again from St Mirren. Lundaloo has nipped that off the toes of Anthony Ralston, who's lucky to get it back. Kasper Schmeichel has it for Celtic just outside the goalkeeper's penalty area. Callum McGregor to Rio Hatate. St Mirren have everyone back in position. Arne Engels has come across to this left-hand side now. Celtic trying to move things about to try and get a little bit of space, pockets of space. Really hard to find so far in these opening 40 minutes here in Paisley. St Mirren have enjoyed a lot more than Celtic have. Now though, Anthony Ralston's come forward from right back. Daizen Maeda over on that right-hand side is level with the penalty area. Again though, he just takes the easy option and comes back to Ralston. And St Mirren are back in their shape. Rio Hatate sees the run of Maeda, comes inside, and Hatate plays it into Kenny, back to Engels. The ball's rat-a-tat-tat outside the St Mirren penalty area, and they just about get it away. Liam Scales will try and keep the pressure on. He looks for a teammate in space. There isn't one, but McGregor takes it anyway. Tight on this left-hand touchline. Scales again, he's crowded out. It's a poor pass. He's forced into the mistake, and Tonetke's going to get booked here. Out comes the yellow card from referee Kevin Clancy. It's the clearest pull on Killian Phillips you'll ever see. Free kick, St Mirren.
square pass. We talk about square passes again. Marcus Fraser's been booked because of a square pass from a teammate. Denetke's been booked because of a poor square pass from a teammate. It's crazy. It just encourages the opposition. I just wonder, could Killian Phillips have kept going? Because he was away from Denetke. He had a lot of grass in front of him. I know he wants the free kick and he can put it in the box, and if he scored from it, then it's egg in my face. But I just think there's an opportunity for him to open his legs up. He's got a real rangy stride, lots of space. Get yourself down the touchline and visit. I think he's taking the easy option, but it might have been on just to stretch the game.
3.5 minutes to go until half time. St Mirren have a free kick on the halfway line, taken by the goalkeeper Shamal George, chipped up towards the edge of the area. There's a flick on there. St Mirren are putting the pressure on. Can they get the ball? They can't, and Celtic will hack it away anywhere. Marcus Fraser will pick up for St Mirren, though, midway inside the Celtic half, tight on this right hand touchline. He's taking the ball for a run, Marcus Fraser. That's exactly what he wanted. A free kick off Tuneki.
I think the minute he picked the ball up, we realised he was trying to get a throw in as close to the corner flag as he could.
Yeah.
He's just delayed, so we all had a chuckle.
We played 42 minutes, so 3 minutes until the half-time whistle. I'm hearing my ear that I don't think we're going to have any time added on at the end of this first half. So Keanu Bacchus has come across to take this throw in. He'll try and launch it into the Celtic penalty area, and it goes, headed away out of the area by Liam Scales. Good header from him. It will drop out for another throw in, and I fancy St Mirren might try and launch this again long. They've got pretty much everyone, in fact they have everyone bar their own goalkeeper. Shamal George is inside the Celtic half. It's been a good first half of football from the home side. They haven't managed to find a goal. Can they now? In comes Arias, flicked on there. A couple of shots come in, block, and a shot just over the crossbar. Well, that was Miguel Freckleton. He's showing a real rich vein of form. Goal against Hearts in that 2-2 draw, and a left-footed curler not that far over the crossbar. Good stuff again from St Mirren.
Yeah, listen, it felt he didn't get much time to set his feet, and I think he would have got a better shot on target. He just tried to direct it, and it goes over the bar. Comes from that long throw again. St Mirren getting first, second contact. Celtic just haven't got going this first half. It'd be interesting to see if Martin O'Neill and the coaching staff, that straight ball, St Mirren, they're preying on you playing it, because that's what they're good at, getting up, putting you under real pressure. Gogic behind you.
Potential trouble here for Scales, but he just nods it back to his goalkeeper. On you go, Scott.
Killian Phillips in front. Yeah, they play on that straight pass into the middle of the park. That's what they're good at, putting you under real pressure. And Celtic just haven't worked St Mirren out of at this moment in time. They haven't. They created a thing out with Taneki's one that flashed over the bar.
We're about to approach the final 60 seconds of a first half that's been largely dominated by St Mirren. They've had a couple of chances, a couple of shots just over the crossbar. There was the Tuneki shot as well that was just over for Celtic. But in terms of possession and where the game's been played, St Mirren will be by far the happier side as Daisen Maeda tries to do something about that in these closing 50 seconds of the first half. Austin Trusty just beside the centre circle inside St Mirren territory, goes out to Kieran Tierney as a one last attack in this for Celtic. Tierney's ball is a good one, it's deflected, it's hacked away by Alex Gogic. Mika Mandron pick up from St Mirren. He's got Liam Scales and Kieran Tierney for company. Callum McGregor slipped and he gets back to his feet, and he's a little bit lucky there, but his ball is poor. It's in between Arnie Engels and Daisen Maeda. It's so untidy from Celtic. It's a poor touch from Arnie Engels as well. Celtic really don't look like the kind of potent attacking force they have been in the last couple of games. Martin O'Neill's won his last 2 league games 4-0. No sign of any of that kind of goal spree coming here in Paisley as we approach the final few seconds of this. Celtic have a throw in. They're going to have to hurry to take it because the referee Kevin Clancy is looking at his watch. I don't think this throw-in's going to happen.
I think what you would say is Falkirk and Kilmarnock are a completely different outfit to St Mirren at home. There's no getting away from that. The physicality they bring, the discipline. Listen, that's been an absolute fantastic performance from St Mirren's in and out of possession, out with not taking the lead. That'll be where St Mirren are trying to improve in the second half. Celtic, it has to be better. They've been so loose in possession.
The half-time whistle has gone. Stephen, there's a little lull here at the moment as people just try and digest what's happened, but there's no doubt St Mirren are going to be the happier of the two sides.
Well, they'll be happy with how they've played against the ball, how they've counter-attacked, the shape of the team, the discipline. The question you'll be thinking deep down is, can Celtic be as poor again in the second half? And when you've been as good as you've been in the first half and you haven't managed to take those chances, you haven't had that little bit of finesse, you haven't had the little bit of composure, you haven't gotten the end of the Declan John cross, you know at some stage Celtic are going to have a period of dominance. They're going to create chances, they're going to produce a little bit of magic. So hopefully all the good work you've done in the first half doesn't disappear for you, but certainly it's been a really competitive game, a really intriguing game. We said it. Celtic haven't really any kind of cohesion, any kind of rhythm to their play. They've turned the ball over far too easy. Loose passes, underhit passes, execution of pass hasn't been where Celtic have been in their last 3 league games. As you said that, and sometimes international when they can do that, it just breaks up the rhythm, the fluency that you've had. You've lost it a little bit. So Martin O'Neill's got his work cut out.
We had the brilliant Declan John cross. It was nearly nudged in for an early opener for St Mirren. Sebastian Tuneke had a shot which fizzed just over the crossbar, and it was the same kind of thing for a couple of St Mirren players as well. Conor McMenamin and Miguel Freckleton had shots that were just wide of the target, and that's why, after an absorbing, energetic first 45 minutes, the half-time score here in Paisley is St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
On digital radio,
online at BBC Sport Scotland,
on BBC Sounds,
or ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
Join me, Laura McKeever.
And me, Martin Geisler, for our brand new breakfast news show.
Radio Scotland Breakfast.
We'll bring you the stories that matter from across Scotland, the UK and around the world.
We'll ask the tough questions and get answers from the people in power.
Plus sport, entertainment, weather and great conversation to start your day.
Join Martin Geisler and Laura McKeever for Radio Scotland Breakfast.
Starts Monday from 6 a.m. on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
Something to look forward to then, starting on Monday morning. But another 45 minutes to look forward to here at the SMISA Stadium in Paisley. Perfect conditions for a game of football, Stephen.
It's been great, David. It really has. I've got to say, both teams have put so much into it. Celtic haven't had the quality that we've expected them to have, but you have to put that down to St Mirren as well. How they've pressed, how they've harassed, how they've been set up. It's easy sometimes when results aren't going your way and you come up against the champions, probably the favourites for the title, albeit Hearts are doing really well. You might think, well, we'll sit off the game and we'll try and absorb a little bit of pressure. We'll maybe try and grind out a 0-0, and if we get a chance we might nick it 1-0. I think they've been better than that. They've shown they've been brave. They've been, full of energy. I thought maybe after 20-25 minutes they might run out of energy and they might have to drop off the game a little bit, but they didn't. They kept going, so they'll certainly be enjoying half-time to get their feet up and try and get a bit of a rest.
Well, that was
get some hydration.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you, Stephen. There's been so much energy in St Mirren's performance, so much pressing. Can they maintain that for 90 minutes, 96 minutes?
You would think it would be nigh impossible. They may have to come off it a little bit at some stage, because all it takes is Celtic have the quality. If someone switches off, doesn't match a runner, is lazy with a pass, turns the ball over too easy, or someone gets caught out of position, Celtic are more than capable of going and capitalising on that. They haven't shown it in the first half. They haven't done enough of it. I think the only one real time was when Rio Hatate turned the ball over and he played Johnny Kenny down the outside of Alex Goggins and he had a shot. It ended up in a poor effort in the end, but that's the warning sign. But if you turn the ball over and you leave gaps in your defence, Celtic can go and punish you. But the high energy, Stephen Robinson will have to look at his bench. He'll be saying to his subs during the game, if you're coming on, this is what you've got to live up to, because all the squad will know the rules and the responsibilities irrespective of what position they play on the pitch. I know how detailed he is, I know how focused he is in his shape out of possession, but the shape out of possession allows you to win the ball, and then you have to be inventive in possession. So they've done fine, they've been okay, but they will expect Celtic to be much, much better in the second half, and I'm sure Martin O'Neill will as well.
Well, here's something that took me by surprise, Stephen. I consulted the stats on the BBC website for possession. Would you care to hazard a guess as to how much possession St Mirren have had in the game?
I just managed to see the colours, so I'm probably going to say St Mirren have had 28 to 30%.
Oh, almost bang on. 27.5%. But it doesn't really feel like that.
It doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel that way, because a lot of Celtic's possession is Casper Schmeichel, the trusty, the Scales, the Tierney, the trusty, the Scales, they're not really hurting St Mirren. They can have as much possession as you want, they're not hurting them. Anytime St Mirren have had possession in the final third, they've looked threatening, they've tried to make something happen. Celtic have just become a little bit bogged down, they've been too easy to play against. It's been quite mundane and passive and pedestrian, just moving along, hoping that someone's going to create something. And unfortunately, to this moment, from their perspective, they haven't managed to do it.
St Mirren have been trying to get that ball in early from the wide areas. It's not always come off, though. But Declan John early on with that ball in, that was
their biggest chance, wasn't it? The biggest chance was, I think Mikael Mandron was sliding across the box. Conor McMenamin may have been in there as well. And you think, Mikel Mandron's about 6'4". Think if you're full stretch with your legs out, surely you can get in the end of that. So you talk about a precise cross and a dangerous cross. There's such a thing as too good a cross, and I think that's what it turned out to be, because it took the full Celtic line back out. All it needed was the slightest of touches, and it was going to nest in the back of the net, and Celtic got away with one.
Yeah, Scott, how would you sum up that first half?
I think from a Celtic point of view, I think it was poor. I think they struggled to get to grips with the intensity that they showed. They struggled to play through, and ultimately creatively they just didn't make enough happen in the final third, out with Tenetki's one that flashed over the bar. But I think a lot of credit goes down to how St Mirren have set up for the first half. I think for that intensity we speak about, they constantly ask Celtic questions, whether it's in the duels that Stephen spoke about at the top of the show, or just putting them under pressure, putting the ball into an area and making Celtic defend. So it'll be interesting to see how the second half pans out, because I think St Mirren will be happy, but they haven't had that finish to go with the first half performance. Celtic, on the other hand, it has to be a lot better. There's been so many slack turnovers. I just feel Johnny Kenny looks isolated at times, and when that probably has evolved because how good the St Mirren press has been. I think the ball has to be dropped in at a height where it's easier for control, especially for a guy like Alex Gogic, who doesn't give you a minute's peace. So that's where Celtic are with a guy like Johnny Kenny. You're asking him to take the ball in against a Gogic, but that is the one part of his game isn't quite at the level maybe needs to be at this moment in time, and that's something he has to work on. So be interesting to see how the game pans outside. Now I still think substitutes could have a big influence in this game, but Celtic in terms of attacking threat just haven't done enough. And I think off the ball, guys like Killian Phillips, when you're playing these straight passes, they're playing on you doing that the whole first half, and they haven't disappointed Celtic when they played them and put them under real pressure. Two big guys up front for St Mirren, a real handful. Nothing. We spoke about that during the first half. I think when your scales and trusty and it's going up to you, when it's a smaller profiler player, you can just go and nod it down to one of your midfielders. They're constantly making contact with the St Mirren strikers, and that isn't easy. And if you aren't then behind the ball, whether it's Callum McGregor, Engels, Hatate, who all their best stuff's probably going forward, you have to be under the ball then to pick up these second balls, and I just feel that St Mirren have done that a lot better than Celtic.
Yeah, Stephen described as uncomfortable for Celtic.
I think it was uncomfortable because they just didn't have that control I felt you would see tonight. I think Celtic are a team, we've seen a lot of them over the last few seasons who like to control the game. They just haven't been allowed to have that control, and that's down to the intensity of St Mirren. But with the players that Celtic have in their squad, they should be coping with it a lot better than they are. I think they've chose the wrong option a lot of times. They two fullbacks are in areas where if you can break the first couple of presses and then get it switched out, then there's space to drive into, and that then gives you that 2v1 that we spoke about in the wide areas. They haven't utilised that well enough, and they're going to have to figure out in the second half, because it could be another uncomfortable second half for Celtic.
Yeah, I mean, Tenetki's made things a wee bit uncomfortable for St Mirren at times. They got an early warning, they got that shot away, didn't quite go on target, but since then they've marshalled them quite well.
Yeah, because when something happens in a game, you always talk about the manager can try and get information on. They've spoken about Tenetki all week, about you can't afford to be isolated 1v1 with Jayden Richardson. He did a little bit of support from behind him from Marcus Fraser, or in front of him potentially with the likes of Killian Phillips. So the first time they didn't manage to do that. The second time or any time after that they've kind of snuffed him out a little bit, but he has that piece of brilliance. He has that little bit of magic that we're talking about, David. If someone becomes fatigued and doesn't track back, or Marcus Fraser doesn't get out to try and help Jayden Richardson, Tenetki can capitalise on that. So all the things you've done well in the first half, great, pat yourself in the back, it's gone. You've got to come out and do the exact same thing again, because Tenetki's going to be livelier. Maida has to be better. Johnny Kenny, will he be better? Will he potentially play Maida as a centre forward and maybe bring on Yang on the right hand side for just something different, just to try and find something? I can see Luke McCowan was getting a good warm up by one of the fitness coaches, so there's a good chance he may come on in midfield. He's got an eye for a pass, he's got a goal. He scored a winner, didn't he, against
87th minute
in the first minute. Well,
3rd of August, first game of the season.
So that's sunny that day.
So that'll be in his mind as well, that you can bring someone on like that who can maybe shoot from distance. Sometimes you come up against a team, you can't get through them, you can't break them down for some reason, so you might need a Hatate shot from 30 yards to win you the game, or a Luke McCowan shot from 30 yards to win the game. Those guys have got that. So Mirren, yes, you've done well, but there's a hell of a lot more to come.
There's a wee crackle of excitement or anxiety when Kieran Tierney got the ball earlier on, just maybe a wee bit outside the St Mirren box, but this time he wasn't tempted.
He was playing at a different side this time. He was playing it right back on Tuesday night, and it just fell onto his favoured left foot. Now, listen, I think another thing in the second half, it'd be interesting to see if St Mirren could keep up that level of intensity and discipline. as me and Stephen have spoke about, to do it for 45 minutes is doable, but for doing that in 90 minutes in Celtic, you would think would look after the ball a lot better in the second half. They'll be going through that as a coaching staff and players in that change room, that they've got to be better on the ball. Once you then start moving that ball, that intensity as the game goes on, a bit of fatigue kicks in, it becomes harder to get there, and then the space might open up for Celtic. So it's important that St Mirren remain disciplined and keep that intensity. But they want to win the game. They'll have a feeling after that first half that there's a game there to go and be won tonight.
Yeah, maintaining the concentration becomes more difficult, doesn't it, as the tiredness creeps in with that intensity?
Well, that's what tends to go first. Once the fatigue kicks in, it's kind of you switch off mentally. And against Celtic, you can't afford to. I mean, you're just looking at their bench and the quality they possibly could bring on, albeit they haven't all been firing on all cylinders throughout the season, but there's definitely quality off the bench to come on and try and change the game. Just give them that little injection of energy and pace and creativity, that spark that they haven't had in the first half. So that's a comfort for Martin O'Neill. But you're right, with regards to St Mirren, the concentration levels have to be at their optimum. Everything you've done in the first half, your discipline, your hard work, your shuffling across, the traps you've set, you've got to do it all again, as well as being able to run forward and handle the ball and create your chances. So yes, it's hard work, but if you want to be successful and you want to win games of football, David, it's going to be hard work. And I tell you, it's a good marker they're setting. I know you asked the question ahead of the game, would it have any impact in the final? At least Celtic will know now, when St Mirren arrive at Hampden Park on Sunday the 14th of December, they're going to come and have a go. They're not going to sit off and allow you to have the ball. They're going to push you and harass you and put you under pressure. So I'd imagine Celtic have learned more about St Mirren tonight than St Mirren have learned about Celtic.
Do you think either side might be tempted to make substitutions at half time, Martin O'Neill or Stephen Robinson?
No, I think Martin O'Neill will look at, he'll probably give him 15 minutes, I think, and then make
that's the tradition,
change.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of our cliches again.
It's a theory. It's a theory. I'm not sure about it. Well, I think Ange used to always do 60, didn't he? 60 minutes, you knew he was making 3 subs.
Yeah, so listen, I think they'll see how it goes. I think, listen, this Celtic team that's out in the pitch now can play a lot better. I think give them the first 15 minutes, see how the game goes, how can St Mirren still produce that level of intensity and discipline that they showed in that first half, and then take it from there. But ultimately you don't want to leave it too late, because the game could get away from you if St Mirren were to get a goal. The way the game's going at the moment, Celtic looks as if they're struggling to really break them down, and it could be a difficult long night for them. So from Celtic point of view, in St Mirren, the next goal is really important in this game.
I think Celtic in a night like tonight, they need something to spark them into action. Whether that's an individual coming off the bench and doing something different than what they've done in the first half. If they come out and play as they did in the first half, they're probably not going to win the game, because they need to have a little bit more than that. Sometimes it can be adversity, David. You can see the goal, you go behind, and suddenly the lights come on and you think, right, we've got it. Why? I don't know. It just happens sometimes. You see the Scotland game the other night. Scotland were defending a 1-0 lead, defend. Denmark equalised. What does Scotland do? On the front foot, charge it forward, make it 2-1. Then what do they do? Set off again, try and absorb. Denmark score and think, God, we have to go again. So they go again. So it's just there's a mental switch for some reason that brings people to life in moments of adversity. And it may take something like that from Celtic. It may take a Martin O'Neill rant at half time just to remind people of the responsibilities and the roles they have to play in the game, because they haven't been good enough. But something has to bring them to life, because first half wasn't good enough from them.
Interestingly, no real VAR activity. St Mirren mild appeals for a penalty at one point.
I would need to see it again. Obviously we don't have the monitor here to see a replay. I think from what I remember, I think he was looking to make the contact. Obviously they've looked at it and not obviously stopped the game and made that decision. So
our colleagues at Pacific Key say there wasn't much in it. He didn't really appeal too much either, did he?
It's nice to not have VAR interventions.
There's plenty of time to go.
Yeah, there's loads, don't worry about that, particularly when St Mirren involved. I think there's always in moments, and just I think Matthew McDermott, poor Matthew, I think he's on fourth official duty, so he's on VAR duties. And when he's involved in St Mirren games, whether it's referee, there always seems to be controversial decisions. So we've got 45 minutes left plus added time. I'm sure there's another twist to come.
Well, VAR's not been busy. The goalkeepers haven't been busy either. I can't remember either of them making a save, Scott.
Not in terms of having to produce a big save. I do feel St Mirren have looked a lot more dangerous when the ball's went into the box. And there's that substitution coming.
Yeah, Celtic come back onto the pitch. Luke McCowan about to make his entry. I think it's
Johnny Kenny actually that's gone off. I'd imagine Dyson Miley's going to play as a centre forward. Luke McCowan may play in the right hand side as he played there for Dundee in the past. Probably has. He's got the ability to do it.
Was he not a winger in his ear days?
Yeah, because the midfield three have lined up as a midfield three are certainly shaping that. Sorry, Cerdine, I'm stealing your thunder.
No, we're just about to hand over to Cerdine.
We're just trying to work it out as we see it.
He's champing at the bit to get started as the players come onto the pitch for the second half. So it's over to you, my friend.
This is great stuff. Just carry on, guys. I'll just have a wee sip of my water and just let you guys do all the work. Yes, that one substitution is an interesting one. Johnny Kenny coming off, so it will be Dyson Maeda surely through the middle. Luke McCowan coming on to the right hand side, you would imagine, where Maeda had played. I didn't see any boards going up for any St Mirren changes, so just Celtic making that one change with the goals of Kenny taken off and the energy of Maeda through the middle and the enterprise of Luke McCowan. Could that make a difference for Celtic? St Mirren are unchanged with Shamal George in goals. Fraser, Gogic and Freckleton as a back three. Richardson and John in the wide areas. Janu Bacchus and Killian Phillips. With Conor McMenamin just in front of them and Lundaloo and Mandron up top for St Mirren. And Celtic's front three is now Tunecki, Maeda and McCowan. Still Hatate and McGregor and Engels. At the back, Tierney, Scales, Trusty and Ralston with Casper Schmeichel in goals for Celtic as we get underway for this second half. And there was plenty of energy and industry before the break. All we need is a goal. The game definitely needs a goal, and Celtic are starting full of energy and full of enterprise down their left-hand side. The ball comes into the box. It's an early touch there, and Hatate to McCowan. Chance for McCowan. He tries to go to there, and Dyson Maeda has a couple of stabs at the ball. Well, goodness me, there were so many St Mirren bodies in the way there. Luke McCowan got the shot away. It made its way to Dyson Maeda, who had a couple of stabs at the ball. I thought it might have come off of a St Mirren player. It's gone out for what looks like a goal kick. More energy from Celtic at least.
Yeah, McCowan made a difference straight from kick-off there. And that's that we spoke about, that opposite full-back. McCowan's on the touchline here. He manages to find that ball in the middle of the park, switches out the other side, and it creates that space down the side, ball across. And McCowan on the end of it, the back post, can't quite get his shot away, and it falls to Maeda, and St Mirren ultimately defend it well in the end. But a good start to Celtic for the second half.
Ultimately, offside was the decision, so that free kick has been taken by the St Mirren goalkeeper Shamal George. Celtic win the ball back already. They look in a better shape with better energy. Brilliant ball through to Maeda. Chance here. Now, was he caught there, Maeda? Well, that's just good physical defending, according to the referee Kevin Clancy. I wonder if Gogic had pulled Maeda back there. Brilliant ball from Hatate.
Definitely looked at Keradine. Don't know what you think, Stephen.
I think he put his arm in his arm. If Dyson Maeda falls,
this is the defender talking here.
If Dyson Maeda falls, it's a red card and he's off. So Maeda tries to stay up to get in the end of it. So I think the touch by Gogic just puts him off a little bit, just takes him out of sync of his run and slows him up.
It's a wonderful pass from Hatate, was it? Defence splitter. Maeda showing that pace.
Already Celtic have upped the quality in the opening couple of minutes of this second half. Brilliant ball from Reo Hatate, and he's on the ball again. He's given it to Tunecki. Celtic are now swarming all over St Mirren down that left-hand side. Tunecki tries to come inside his man, and Celtic will, in the 47th minute, get their first corner kick of the game.
Well, they said it would take something to bring him into action or spark him into action. But it sounds of things, it's probably been the team talk from Martin O'Neill, because his players have come out, a completely different set of players. I think even when that was it the free kick they had, or Maeda had a chance of scoring, the Celtic fans were applauding them and trying to cheer them on. They'd been very flat in the first half, so the Celtic players are now inspiring the fans.
Their first corner of the entire match will be taken over on the left-hand side by Arnie Engels, it looks like, so that's going to be an in-swinger with his right boot. Celtic have pretty much everybody forward. Couple of players, Hatate, McGregor, on the edge of the St Mirren penalty area. In comes a corner kick. It's a decent one, but it's well defended by St Mirren. Poor touch from Tunecki, just puts his body in the way of the St Mirren player though and just halts his progress. Anthony Ralston has to sprint to get to the ball, which he plays all the way back to Casper Schmeichel, who has Reo Hatate for company over on this right hand side. Instead he goes a couple of yards further forward to Callum McGregor, and Celtic will try and build from the back. St Mirren, as usual, back in their shape, back in their formation, as Scales goes long looking for the run of Maeda, who's given a nudge there. And the referee does think that was a free kick. Well, a tiny wee nudge from Dyson Maeda on Alex Gogic is a foul, and Gogic maybe pulling Maeda back a minute before is not.
I know it's a hard one to understand, and hard to understand the referee's point of view of it, but already what we're seeing, and Martin O'Neill said when he first came in that he probably wanted his team to play forward a little bit quicker. That's 2 balls in behind for Dyson Maida. Completely different change of tactic when the first half was all short in front of St Mirren. They're now saying, see, if you're going to press high, you've got the legs of Maida in behind you. So now St Mirren, the back three in particular, and Gogic's got a real conundrum.
You see distance is just a bit bigger between midfield and defence, and then it gives Celtic your Callum McGregor space to then go and play in the middle of the park.
There's a foul there that Callum McGregor wants to take quickly. I was just looking at something that I don't really like to talk about, expected goals. St Mirren's in the first half was 1.27, Celtic's was 0.13.
And the game's 0-0.
Exactly that.
So that's why you don't like talking about them.
Correct. Just thought I'd lob it in there that up until now St Mirren, statistically, according to the boffins, were the more likely to score. It looks and feels a little bit different now though. Much more energy and enterprise about Celtic in the opening 4.5 minutes of this second half. We're still goalless in Paisley. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. The game finally poised, finally balanced. Is there a goal to really get this going, really get the juices flowing? Kieran Tierney has the ball on the left for Celtic up to Tunecki. He's crowded out by another couple of St Mirren bodies. Once again, the St Mirren energy and pressing is good. It draws another mistake from Kieran Tierney, who just stabs the ball forward, and in the end it's all the way up to the red-shirted figure of Shamal George, whose dodgy back has held up well in these opening 50 minutes. Celtic will have a little bit of space in midfield. Hatate again threads it through for Maida. Chance for Celtic until Gogic gets there with a brilliant sliding tackle. Will the ball go out for a corner kick? It won't. Tunecki wanted it to, but again some good defending from the orange boots of Marcus Fraser over on that right-hand side. It'll be a throw-in to Celtic, who are playing a lot more football deep in St Mirren territory. They did have more possession than St Mirren, quite a lot more in the first half, but they didn't really do too much with it. There is a new energy about them just now though. Tierney to Hatate, tight on that left-hand touchline, about 25 yards or so from the corner flag over on that far side, but Celtic now coming back into the middle of the pitch. Austin Trusty will be pressed by Mundaloo. Ralston plays it out to this right-hand touchline right in front of us in the commentary box. It's Ferdinand San, Stephen Craigan and Scott Allen for BBC Radio Scotland. Delighted to bring you St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. As McCowan, the second half substitute, approaches the St Mirren penalty box, tries to thread it forward to Dyson Maida, just can't quite get there. Had a little nip at the heels of Alex Gogic, can't get there. Gogic should just put his right boot through the ball, chip it forward towards Conor McMenamin. Lundaloo made a really nice run and he's seen it too late. Conor McMenamin, he couldn't execute the pass either. McGregor to Liam Scales, and there's some space for Sebastian Tunecki to have a wee look at the ball. His red boots sparkling in the floodlights here in Paisley as he goes back to Callum McGregor, Celtic captain. Slows it down, goes to the American international centre-half Austin Trusty, restored to the team under Martin O'Neill. Reo Hatate takes a couple of touches now into Kieran Tierney, being urged to shoot by the Celtic fans. He will do, and he got hold of that one. I don't know, was that Alex Gogic who took that flush in the face pretty much anyway?
I think it was Marcus Fraser back of the head.
Well, he's done well because Fraser trying to close the ball down. Tunecki has it, he's trying to get the crossover on that left-hand side. Goes out to Kieran Tierney on his right foot, plays the ball in. It's decent, but it's all the way through to the goalkeeper. McCowan there didn't quite have the idea that Tierney had, but there's a brilliant kick out from Shamal George now. Lundaloo already is bearing down on the Celtic penalty box on his left-hand side, comes onto his right foot, looks for support. He has it there. Chance here for a shot from St Mirren. It's blocked away. And Reo Hatate's back there trying to defend against Mikael Freckleton, who come up from the back from St Mirren.
Showed some energy, hasn't he, Freckleton, throughout this game, defensively and defensively.
Backus as well was up there.
Yeah, it was great play. Worked the ball from side to side. Good block in the end from Celtic. It's game on now, isn't it?
But the game's so open, and that's what Celtic want, an open game, because they want more space to play in. And I think it's amazing how one player can make a difference. And Luke McCowan coming on the right hand side, he wants to go and play in the middle of the pitch. He's so composed with the ball, his way to pass, his choice of pass, everything that Celtic lacked in the first half, he's brought it, and it's just given that bit more of an ownership of the game.
Well, we spoke about, didn't we, when the ball was getting played out to Maeda on his weaker left foot. He can't wrap that one into the centre of the park. Luke McCowan's now done it twice, and it's led to promising attacks from Celtic. That then gives Hatate and Maeda now playing centrally. They have a connection. Hatate has that quality and vision to find the pass, and Maeda's got the pace in behind.
Callum McGregor's given it straight to Conor McMenamin in a dangerous position for St Mirren. Celtic haven't get bodies back. St Mirren have it just outside the Celtic penalty area. 1-2 there should be cut out by Kieran Tierney's hacked the ball away towards Daizen Maeda, but the Japanese international can't get there. Killian Phillips for St Mirren sees a run down the left side. Really good anticipation there from Anthony Ralston. Cut that out beautifully and sets Celtic away through Arnie Engels to the captain. Callum McGregor wants a couple of extra minutes. Callum McGregor, he's just been a little bit more hesitant than usual, the Celtic captain. However, Celtic have played the ball up towards halfway. Engels goes to Kieran Tierney over on the left hand side of the field for Celtic. On the halfway line is Arnie Engels, sees the run of Maeda. It's a good ball as well. Gogic is underneath it. It'll drop to Maeda, who's a player all over him. Maeda showing good strength. He has the ball, does Daizen Maeda, goes towards the byline. Needs support though. Has it from Sebastian Tunek. He just slows things down. Arnie Engels sees that Ralston has a bit of space, but Engels will come infield. Think about the shot. He dummies and goes the other way. Good play from Engels. Now Tuneki has it on the left hand side. Good pressure from Celtic. Tuneki goes to the byline. Can he stand the ball up? He can, but Gogic is there. St Mirren hacked the ball clear. Good Celtic pressure, but good defending from St Mirren as well. Lundaloo can't keep the ball in, and Celtic will have a throw in. Celtic looking threatening, but St Mirren still so resolute.
Yeah, it's been an excellent second half so far. Both teams still looking to try and cause each other problems. Celtic started the second half much better. So much more creative in that final third now.
Stephen Robinson has clearly told his players, make Celtic work for anything, and they absolutely have done so in these opening 55 minutes. Ralston takes a poor touch there, and St Mirren will get the ball back. It's inside their own half though, and they'll just patiently go back to their own goalkeeper. It's a wee bit too close to Daizen Maeda for my liking there, but anyway, Shamal George with his right foot chips up towards halfway. Good header from Trusty. Callum McGregor to Hatate, tries to play it back to his captain. That's loose from Hatate though. He'll try and win the ball back, but Mandron does well, plays it infield. Conor McMenamin sees the run of Lundaloo, who has scales for company. Lundaloo's done well. He's turned the Irish international defender, and St Mirren just can't quite get hold of the ball. Trusty goes back to his Danish international goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel, who chips the ball up towards Daizen Maeda, who's not too interested in chasing that, and it's easy possession once again for St Mirren deep inside their own half. Gogic out to Fraser into Keanu Bacchus. Spins round and gives it back to Gogic. St Mirren try to work it across here towards Freckelton. No. Gogic goes on a run. Oh, he's going to be robbed here. A chance for Celtic to try and break forward. Hatate to Callum McGregor. Space for Celtic to work into. McGregor's got a couple of plays for company. Oh, he's fouled. Callum McGregor surely. Yeah, and an apology goes up from Conor McMenamin. Mistimed the challenge. Free kick to Celtic just outside the penalty area.
It all comes from a centre half getting into the middle of the pitch and taking 7, 8, 9 touches, not knowing what he's wanting to do with the ball. I know Stephen Robinson was encouraging him just to drop the ball over the top. Ball turns over and suddenly St Mirren are scrambling a little bit. There's a few things happening now to St Mirren we didn't witness in the first half, because Celtic weren't up the pace, they weren't on their money. They certainly are now, and any kind of mistake from St Mirren, Celtic are looking to capitalise.
Well, they've got a free kick here. It's wide on the right hand side. It's about 22 yards or so from the goal line, wide on the right hand side of the penalty area. It's St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, but a chance for Celtic to create something here. Arnie Engels whips in the free kick. It's headed back by one of the Celtic players. The St Mirren boot just hoofs it up in the air. It'll come back to Engels, who tries to take a little touch into the path of Luke McCowan, but it goes behind for a goal kick to St Mirren, and all that danger from a Celtic point of view fizzles out. We've played 57 goalless minutes. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
Well, I did say in the first half that Celtic were uncomfortable. Now they look an awful lot more comfortable with regards ball retention, final third, the final pass, maybe still eluding them a little bit, but certainly the influence of Callum McGregor and Hatate and Luke McCowan has been much better than what anything was in the first half.
No sign of the St Mirren manager Stephen Robinson making any changes at the moment. Arms folded. He's got to be satisfied with what he's got from his team so far. Really good performance, lots of energy, some moments of quality as well, and they're holding Celtic here. It's still goalless, and we've played 57, nearly 58 minutes, and Lundaloo just can't quite get on the edge of that move there as Kasper Schmeichel quickly gets another Celtic attack underway, but they have it just outside their own penalty area, but inches away. Lundaloo from, if you manage to get control of that football, chances there for St Mirren.
Yeah, I love the fact, that St Mirren are still trying to carry a threat, because when you're under pressure it's easy to sit off the game, but they're not. They're still wanting to run forward as much as they can.
Ralston for Celtic comes over the halfway line towards Arnie Engels. He has Freckleton for company, and Celtic once again have to go backpedaling furiously as Anthony Ralston all the way back to his goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel. And now Liam Scales trots towards the halfway line, thinks about going long, instead comes to Maeda, who drops short onto the halfway line. Callum McGregor is literally pleading with his teammates for some movement and some options. He gets it back from Scales. He's crowded out once again. Callum McGregor has to go back to Austin Trusty. St Mirren forcing Celtic back, pressing them high. Ralston looks for Dyson Maeda. His touch is good. He's sold a dummy there to Gogic, and now Hatate spreads the play onto the left-hand side. Patient football from Celtic. Tuneki now approaching the edge of the penalty area down that left-hand side. Thinks about going to the byline. Goes one way, then the other. Has a runner outside him. He has company there. Comes inside now. Thinks about the cross. Still, it's Tuneki. Now he plays it into the path of Callum McGregor, who'd made the overlapping run. He just about gets there, the Celtic captain. Back to Tuneki now. Celtic still have it with Reo Hatate outside the St Mirren penalty area. It's a poor touch from Dyson Maeda. Hatate should get there though for Celtic. He puts a boot in and wins it back. Tierney to Tuneki, who's muscled out of it by Mandron. That's a physical battle that the Tunisian was never going to win. The big Frenchman was winning that all day long, and St Mirren have the ball. Their fans are happy. They're applauding their efforts. We're still goalless, and we've nearly played an hour.
Well, we have, and it's a much better game now than it was in the first half, because both teams are really having a go at each other. I like the fact that Kevin Clancy's let a couple of things go. There's a few things that just happen in football. There's a shove and there's a nudge. Just get on with the game. I think he's refereed it really well, and it's a reflection of the game.
The St Mirren fans are the ones making all the noise in the stand opposite us. The North Bank Ultras happy enough with a scoreline that reads St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. Live on BBC Radio Scotland as Kevin Clancy's spotted a foul to Celtic. Declan John thought he was in for a run down the touchline there. Stephen Robinson barking out some more instructions to his team. He won't want to concede anything now, having played so well his side for an hour. Celtic though have looked more threatening since that second half substitution. Luke McCowan coming over to the right hand side. Dyson Maeda going through the middle. Johnny Kenny substituted at half time. Austin Trusty has it for Celtic. Arnie Engels on the halfway line. Luke McCowan, St Mirren again. Plenty men back. McCowan chips the ball forward looking for Maeda, who's never going to get there. Ambitious from McCowan, but that was never going to happen.
Yeah, I think Maeda went and then checked his run, so McCowan had already looked up to get threatening behind. Listen, it's better from Celtic to now get that option to get in behind Gogic, Freckleton. Even when it's on that right hand side and Taneki's working the ball into Hatate and Engels, McCowan's looking to get on the shoulder of the last defender. Just keep an eye on it.
On McMenamin to Mika Mandron. St Mirren working something down the left hand side. Declan John into McMenamin. Good stuff from St Mirren. Then comes across. Kasper Schmeichel flops down on the ball, and as he has done all match, gets things quickly underway once again. He volleys it out to Sebastian Tuneki, who all of a sudden is over the halfway line. Comes in field. Nice feet from the Tunisian. Switches the play out to the right hand side. Anthony Ralston knows that Luke McCowan's up ahead of him down this right wing for Celtic. McCowan looks up, assesses his options, goes back to his captain Callum McGregor. Back on the centre circle, Celtic have it with Liam Scales. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, but the champions trying to do something about that goalless scoreline. Sebastian Tuneki over on that left hand side. Right-footed cross comes in. Gogic heads it clear for St Mirren to Luke McCowan on the edge of the area. Thinks about a shot on his left foot. Reo Hatate chance for the shot. Plays it to McCowan. McCowan can't get the shot away. St Mirren trying to scramble the ball out of their penalty area. Miguel Freckleton puts his left boot through the ball. Chips it up towards halfway. St Mirren survive. Austin Trusty to his captain Callum McGregor. Signs that Celtic are just fancying a goal here. Ralston sees the run of Maeda. He was never going to find him with that pass over. But McGregor ties up the scraps for Celtic. The St Mirren fans want a handball that's not coming. McGregor left-footed out to Sebastian Tuneki. Much better from Celtic. They have the ball outside the St Mirren penalty area. Now Callum McGregor with the left-footed shot hits a hand there. Well, Callum McGregor is furiously claiming handball. I think it did hit Killian Phillips' arm. Celtic win it back though. Luke McCowan to Callum McGregor, who's kept his run going. Lots of energy from the Celtic captain, leading by example as he normally tries to do, until the loose pass. St Mirren gift it back to Celtic on the edge of their own area. That was nearly disastrous from a St Mirren point of view. We're told that there is no check on Killian Phillips. His arm was close to his body, so I think it did hit the arm, but because the arm was in a natural position close to the body, play on. Now St Mirren down the right hand side. Jaden Richardson is across there, tries to find Lundalu. Plenty of Celtic bodies there. and Richardson's gone down. The referee hasn't given anything, so Celtic have every right to play on here if they want to, which they will do. Now, long ball forward looking for Maeda. Gogic nearly slipped, but he read that attempted pass from Arnie Engels, and St Mirren tidy up. Jonah Ayunga coming on for St Mirren, we think. He's stripped.
Sorry, Kerry Dean.
Yeah, Declan John here just keeps the ball in down at the corner flag. Chance for him to maybe deliver across. Can St Mirren maybe fashion something here? Declan John to Keanu Bacchus. Right-footed curler is easy for Kasper Schmeichel. And St Mirren will try and get the substitution done. They can't though because the ball's not out of play, but they are about to make their first change after 64 minutes, and it will be Jonah Ayunga who will come on.
Yeah, and I think it'll be Lundulu that comes off. He's given the ball away a couple of times in the last couple of minutes, and Stephen Robinson has showed his displeasure, shall we say. So I'd imagine it'll be like for like, powerful, strong, a little bit of energy. Just when they're starting to fatigue a little bit, he may just be the out ball to go and stretch the Celtic back line.
That's what you call a reactive substitution. A couple of things annoy you, a couple of actions annoy you in the game, right? That's time. But I do think the intensity's come out of St Mirren, you can see that, and that's down to Celtic using the ball a lot better. Yes, in the final third they haven't quite managed to maybe as many shots on St Mirren's goals as they'd like to, but they're using the ball a lot better, and that intensity then comes down. The spaces are too big.
Using the ball right now with Sebastian Tunecki again, trying to get to the byline. He does so, gets across in, nearly falls for Dizamira. Celtic have it in the St Mirren penalty area. They can't get the ball away, St Mirren. Celtic crowd them out. Kieran Tierney chips the ball to the back post. Unfortunately, from his point of view, no teammates were there, allowing Declan John to chip the ball up, looking for Mika Mandron. Austin Trusty gets there, and Ralston goes all the way back to his goalkeeper. Celtic tidy up, and now then, what's happened here? Is that Miguel Freckleton who's gone down? A bit of cramp, is it? His goalkeeper Shamal George is pressing his right leg up in a straight line, the usual sign that he's got a little bit of cramp. And the physio's coming on. Well, that should allow St Mirren to make this substitution, this break and play. Stephen Robinson just having a word with Keanu Bacchus. St Mirren waiting to make this substitution. We're also waiting to see whether Miguel Freckleton's going to be okay to carry on. He's getting some attention. Yang is coming on for Celtic. Jonah Ayunga is coming on for St Mirren. It's all happening here, guys. Changes are plenty.
Yeah, it's just funny because you're talking about the winger coming on, because on a number of occasions Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney have encouraged Luke McCowan to come wide, be on the touchline. But that's not his natural instinct. When he comes to the touchline, the first thing he's going to do is go back inside. So I think they want someone to go outside. So I imagine Luke McCowan will move into midfield potentially. It's not actually McCowan's going to stay in this right hand side. It's going to be Tunecki off, and Yang, I imagine, is going to play off the left hand side, which is a bit odd because I think Luke McCowan is better in the middle of the pitch as opposed to being in the right.
Sebastian Tunecki's kind of shaking his head, not in a petulant way, but he looks a little bit nonplussed to have come off. I must admit, I'm slightly surprised that it was him that was taken off. I don't know what you make of that, Scott.
Yeah, I can understand the frustration. I think he's starting to feel that his team are getting a foothold in the game. That then provides more chances for him to go and be creative. But if you're looking at the first half, he probably was the guy who was on the ball more than anybody in the areas to go and hurt St Mirren. And for the amount of times he's had the ball, he just hasn't really been effective. Yes, it looks good on the eye at times, but you're looking at final ball, times to get in, put cross in the box, he just hasn't quite done that.
The like-for-like substitution has happened with Jonah Ayunga replacing Dan Lundelu. Miguel Freckleton has come across for a wee sip of juice and a wee chat with his manager Stephen Robinson. It's 0-0. We've played 67 minutes. There's a bit of a lull in play though because of those couple of substitutions and the treatment to Freckleton, so a little bit of energy has gone out of the place. Celtic though in possession with the ball. An early touch for Yang, who's just come on for Sebastian Tunecki. What can Yang do? Again, there's a couple of St Mirren players around him. He can't do very much. Ball's been given away and St Mirren should pick up. Celtic are hassling and harrying though. The same kind of pressing from Celtic that we saw so impressively from St Mirren. Dizamir has just run the ball out of play though.
Do you know what? See, when Conor McMenamin won the ball there, he had a chance to play it forward. Jonah Ayunga was one-on-one with Liam Scales, and he's just on the pitch, he's fresh, he had started to run down the channel, and for some reason Conor McMenamin checked out and went negative as opposed to throwing it down the side.
St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, 68 minutes played. Some ironic cheers from the home fans as Kevin Clancy gives the Buddies a free kick on halfway. Is there a sense of how this might go from now? Is this going to fizzle out to 0-1? Is there a goal in this game?
Next goal's a winner for me. No, listen, I think looking at Celtic the second half, I think Callum McGregor's been excellent, middle of the park, picked up a lot more second balls. he's now finding himself in a lot more space to then play forward. That was again in that first half. Celtic just couldn't get to grips with the St Mirren midfielders, not getting away from that. St Mirren on the other hand now with the two strikers. I think you look at that first half, excellent. Second half, you're then asking that intensity drops.
Now St Mirren are maybe in here, and there's a St Mirren have scored, but the offside flag has gone up. Well, St Mirren thought they'd taken the lead there. The ball was just lobbed past Kasper Schmeichel. The offside flag went up pretty quickly. It was bobbling about inside the Celtic area. Celtic thought they might get a chance to get the ball clear. St Mirren boot just curled it beyond Kasper Schmeichel. The offside flag went up pretty quickly. Liam Scales might have been the boot that put that beyond the goalkeeper.
But if there's interference from a player who was in an offside position, then of course it'll be ruled as offside. What I have to say is I think it shocked the referee's assistant, because he was scrambling for his flag to try and get it up. He wasn't expecting to go in the back of the net, neither was I. I was expecting the Celtic defender to clear it, but clearly Liam Scales has miskicked it and put it in his own net, which...
So there's a combination, we think, of maybe Liam Scales and Conor McMenamin. The ball's gone past Kasper Schmeichel into the net, but the offside flag was up pretty quickly. The VAR check is ongoing to see whether this goal should stand or not. Referee Kevin Clancy just having a chat with a couple of players. He's waiting for instruction from VAR Central.
And what Wales says, the last time St Mirren were here, there was issues with the lines, wasn't there?
Yes.
So I can imagine they will be checking, double checking and treble checking to make sure they have got the lines drawn in the right place.
And to describe that to the listeners at home, Stephen Craigan was waving his microphone like a linesman's flag.
So the lines are being drawn, as Stephen Craigan rightly said. There's extra precision maybe going into them. There's going to be yet another pause. We had a big lull in play for the injury to Freckleton. The on-field decision of offside is being confirmed. The goal will not stand.
Decision is no goal, offside.
St Mirren fans tell you what they think of that decision. Relief for Martin O'Neill down in front of us, and for the Celtic fans away to our right. It remains St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, and a let-off for the champions.
Might just give St Mirren a little lift. Celtic obviously now get a foothold in the game.
That's three goals in the last two games for St Mirren, getting ruled out for offside. And listen, that's what VAR's here for. It's for to make the decisions, but it can be deflating as a team, and I can imagine that every time you score, it's ruled out.
Kudos to the linesman on the far side who called that straight away and has been proven correct, as Austin Trusty chips the ball out to Liam Scales, who never wanted that pass. Takes a bit of a loose touch, but he's done pretty well, Scales, to come back inside a couple of St Mirren players. We've played 71 minutes. It's St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. We've had a disallowed St Mirren goal for offside. We think maybe Conor McMenamin getting the final touch. We've had a couple of chances earlier in the game. We had Conor McMenamin and Miguel Freckleton going just over the bar. Seb Tuneki's curler just over for Celtic. And a very early Declan John cross. It was nearly touched in for an early St Mirren opener. Celtic going to the bench once again. Interestingly, Dane Murray coming on, as well as Ben Niger, with Anthony Ralston and Kieran Tierney coming off. He's not been afraid to go to his bench. Martin O'Neill, what do we make of those changes, guys?
Well, it's a bit unusual. Arne Engels is going to play right back. Liam Scales is going to shuffle across the left back, and Dane Murray's going to go and play beside Austin Trusty in central defence. So I have to say, Tony Ralston had a challenging night. It happens sometimes in football. He hadn't played particularly well. He'll be disappointed with his own performance, and Martin O'Neill just thought, you know what, it's a positive change as well, because Arne Engels is an attacking midfield player, so we'll see how it pans out.
So Celtic with the throw-in, trying to put St Mirren under pressure. 72.5 goalless minutes played here in Paisley. And Callum McGregor goes across to Liam Scales, and Scales says Yang, one of the second half Celtic substitutes. Thinks about going to the byline, comes inside. Yang plays a nice ball towards Rio Hatate. Hatate tries to play the follow cross. Now the shot comes in, a brilliant block from St Mirren. Well, a couple of really good blocks there, because Dyson Maeda would have had a tap in, and then when the shot came in again from Yang, it didn't even go out for a corner. Such as the ferocity of the block. Celtic try and play the ball back into the St Mirren box. First early touch for Dane Murray on the chest to Callum McGregor. Austin Trusty the centre half midway inside St Mirren territory. Yang wide on the left for Celtic, 3 St Mirren players around him, goes on his right foot, comes into the penalty area, gets the shot away, it's deflected away from a corner kick. Celtic trying to build up the pressure.
Yeah, really positive from Celtic. Just that initial one there, Yang cuts inside, Hatate makes a fantastic run, the box just couldn't quite get his shot away, fantastic block in the end I think, and then Yang again. Yang's been positive the last couple of minutes.
Celtic will have a corner kick with 73.5 minutes on the clock. It's goalless here at the SMISA in Paisley. The Celtic fans trying to suck the ball into the net. As the corner comes in, it's an in-swinger all the way to the back post. Maybe Celtic will get another corner. St Mirren head just nods it out once again. Yet more encouragement from the Celtic fans. They maybe sense something's coming. Luke McCowan wants to take the corner kick quickly. He's not being allowed to though. Arnie Engels will come across and take it. So this will be a right-footed outswinger from Belgium as the clock ticks to 74 minutes. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. Is there a goal in these final 16 minutes or so? Engels takes the corner, right-footed towards the back post. St Mirren head gets there. Yang has a shot from Hatate, has a shot from well outside the area, doesn't get hold of it at all, trundles by harmlessly. Goal kick. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, I've been there as a midfielder, 40 yards out, and it rolls to you, and you think in your head, I'm going to unleash this. Ambitious to say the least from Hatate, obviously drags wide to the post. But Celtic are pushing now.
Got to say, that last attack from Celtic, you spoke about defensive blocks. I think first of all it was Marcus Fraser blocked one. He could pull back. Then Gogic threw himself in front of the strike. I think it was Yang deflected it wide. Then it was Killian Phillips in the end of the edge of the box. So with 15 minutes to go, there's going to be an awful lot more of those. St Mirren have put so much into the game. They haven't managed to get ahead. Now it's all about hanging in there. Stay in the fight. Do not allow the game to get away from you.
St Mirren have the ball in Celtic territory, but Austin Trusty heads the ball back towards halfway, and now Nygren for Celtic. There's a counter-attack here. Nygren through towards Maeda. Oh, he's fouled there surely now. It's either a penalty or a free kick just outside the area. Referee Kevin Clancy says the latter. Just outside the area as Gogic takes down Maeda. Is a card coming here, one might wonder, as the Celtic players crowd around the referee and ask him, there comes the card. So no surprise that Gogic goes in the book.
I have to say, to the naked eye, it looked like an accidental collision, I have to say. Maeda came on his blind side. There was a coming together and they fell over. There was no deliberate act from Alex Gogic. Doesn't mean to say it's not a red card potentially, because if he's denying a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity, then he will be sent off for it, irrespective of whether he meant it or not. But it would seem harsh.
So the on-field decision has been confirmed. So referee Kevin Clancy, according to his VAR colleagues, spot on with the decision of free kick to Celtic, but it's just to the left of the D, so that tells you how much danger there could be here for St Mirren as the clock ticks past 76 minutes. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, but Celtic will fancy this free kick. Reo Hatate's in there. Arnie Engels has the football at the moment. Ben Nygren thinks, well, how about me? I've just come on, I fancy this. Callum McGregor, the captain, is there directing operations. It might be the Belgian, Engels. Looks like he's going to be the one to place the ball about a yard outside the 18-yard line, just to the left of the D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, maybe 7 in the St Mirren wall as Shamal George tries to organise that.
Could be one of the tallest walls you've ever seen as well, because there's a few boys in there 6'4".
Oh, he beat me to it, Stephen.
Referee Kevin Clancy is drawing the line where the St Mirren players have to stand. Maybe somebody's dropped out of the wall now. There's 5 St Mirren players there, but there are a couple of Celtic players just making a nuisance of themselves. Referee Kevin Clancy still isn't happy. Shamal George seems set in the St Mirren goal. Free kick to Celtic. 19 yards out. Either Arnie Engels or Benjamin Nygren will take it. One of the St Mirren players, Alex Gogic, is lying down behind the wall. Here comes a free kick for Celtic. Arnie Engels, right-footed into the wall. Huge cheers from St Mirren. Still danger there for them though, until now when they just hack the ball clear. And Austin Trusty comes back into his own half, gives it to Kasper Schmeichel, and after the big build-up there, that was a little anticlimactic as Arnie Engels battered the ball straight into the wall.
All that for somebody just to run up and lash the ball. We're expecting a little bit of finesse and a bit of curve and a bit of movement in the ball, but We didn't get it.
So still, we don't have our goal. Now we have 12 minutes left here in Paisley. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. Is there a winner in this match for someone? We have had a disallowed one for the McMenamin effort. Offside was given on field and confirmed by Matthew McDermott in VAR. Celtic have the ball deep inside their own half at the moment as they try and do something about this goalless scoreline. Daisen Maida's come very deep to get the ball. He's inside his own half. He gives it to his fellow Japanese, Reo Hatate. Liam Scales has come forward to help out in the attack. He's got Yang outside him. Instead he goes for the first time delivery. Is nearly in at the back post from Celtic. A diving header from Daisen Maida. I'm not sure he got too much on there. Luke McCowan's the man who's kicking the back of the post there in frustration because he was just inches away. It maybe missed Maida. McCowan could have been in there, and instead it just inches past the left-hand post, and it stays St Mirren 0, Celtic 0.
Huge opportunity for Celtic. Fantastic ball in. Maida throws himself, just goes by the post. But again, it's a sign of intent from Celtic. They're really pushing here.
Did he get much on that header? Was that the problem? Just too faint? Or
I think he's just got a glance of it, because it certainly looked as if the ball had changed direction. And that's the run he loves as well. He loves coming from the right hand side, going across the first defender. Remember a game I'd done early in the season down at Kilmarnock when the game is tight and compact, exact same run, that little dart and run. He's so quick, he's so sharp, and I have to say a delightful ball in from Liam Scales on the left hand side.
It was a little bit just a little bit low that time, so it is a harder angle on the header.
You're listening to BBC Radio Scotland. Scott Allen, Stephen Craigan and Kerry Nidsan bringing you live commentary on St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, which is now just edging towards the final 10 minutes of the regulation 90. The ball is inside the Celtic half over on that right hand side. St Mirren are claiming a throw in that they're not going to get. St Mirren manager Stephen Robinson's furious about that.
Your St Mirren manager, Scott, do you take a point from here?
Yeah, I would think so. Listen, Celtic are really pushing. I think you would be happy with lots of aspects of the game. Yes, you haven't at this moment in time scored. To play with the same intensity for 90 minutes, which you've seen in the first half, it is really difficult. Celtic obviously finding another gear in this second half.
Here they come now. Arnie Engels on the edge of the area. Benjamin Nygren thinks about the left-footed shot, tries it, clatters into Killian Phillips, who just collapses to the turf. He's taken a sore one there. Nygren got fully hold of that, the Swedish international. And he's just taken a wee seat for a wee breather. Killian Phillips felt the full force of that shot in the midriff, I think.
I think these substitutions might tell us otherwise, though. How Stephen Robinson, I think he maybe feels there's still a win possible. Fraser Taylor, really creative midfielder.
Yep. On. Double substitution for St Mirren. Fraser Taylor coming on, and also maybe to help out at the back, Richard King. Conor McMenamin comes off, Fraser Taylor comes on. Richard King is stripped and waiting to come on, but I'm not sure he's going to get on at the moment because Celtic are ready to take the throw in, and I don't know if...
Yeah, it's Jane Richardson, I think, is just trotting off.
Well, he's taking his time. Here he comes now.
He's putting a power of work, hasn't he, Richardson?
Yeah, he's been excellent down that right-hand side for St Mirren. So now Richard King, fresh from international duty with Jamaica. Their 0-0 draw with Curaçao put Curaçao through to the World Cup, the smallest nation to qualify, with a population roughly of Dundee, about 150,000. Means that Richard King and the Jamaicans have New Caledonia in the playoffs, and then if they get through that, DR Congo. Celtic though right now have a corner kick with 8 minutes of the regulation 90 left. It's St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. The champions trying to build up a head of steam. They've had corners, they've had free kicks. They've not really had much though in the way of clear-cut chances. Can that change now from this Arnie Engels corner with 8 minutes to go? And it comes right-footed, outswinger, up goes the heads. Chance there, but the goalkeeper comes and claims. Good goalkeeping from Shamal George. You had to be sharp off his line there.
Yes, fantastic from Shamal George. He just relieves that pressure. It's a fantastic delivery again from Arnie Engels. Shamal George comes and collects.
In no particular hurry to get the ball rolling once again, much to the ire of the Celtic fans behind his goal. The ball is back in play though now, and Reo Hatate spreads the play over to the other side of the pitch. Dane Murray takes a touch. Now then into, Arnie Engels has just given the ball straight to Declan John. Is there a chance here for St Mirren? Mika Mandro back to Declan John! John! Straight at the goalkeeper, Kasper Schmeichel. Well, is that the chance for St Mirren? Declan John had the goal at his mercy. The first time left shot, straight down the throat of a grateful Kasper Schmeichel. And now up at the other end, Yang for Celtic tries to get something going for them. He's given the ball away though, really well intercepted by Keanu Backett. It's very open now as we get into the last 7 goalless minutes here in Paisley. Both sides fancy a goal. Now Declan John has acres of space to run into down this Celtic right hand side. He's going to wait to try and measure the cross. Here it comes just now to the edge of the area. Shot comes in, second shot comes in, Celtic blocking. Now Richard King, who's just on the pitch, skies a left-footed effort way over the crossbar, and like a balloon being punctured, all the air comes out of the stadium here in St Mirren at the moment. However, the home fans are encouraged by what they're seeing from their side. We've 6 minutes left. Can either team find a goal here in Paisley?
What a chance for Declan John. Robbed on the angles, think he slips, plays a 1-2 with Mandron. He's in the box, just strike through it low, surface is zippy, makes Schmeichel have to dive, get down low, and he just plays it straight into his hands. And then again Celtic counter attack, and then it goes up the other end again. Fraser Taylor showing great composure.
The end-to-end football continues here in Paisley, live on BBC Radio Scotland. Then comes the attempted cross from Luke McCowan. St Mirren just hacked the ball up into the air. It should fall for Austin Trusty in the centre circle. His touch is out wide to Liam Scales. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. We're into the final 6 minutes, and that's a terrible ball forward by Liam Scales. No chance of Yang getting onto that. Goal kick St Mirren, now 5.5 minutes left.
Huge chance that was for Declan John. Huge chance.
The thing is, he'd done all the hard work to get there, and then he's thinking, oh, what now? I'm not used to being in this position. I think he tried to side foot it, and you think you just put your head down and see if he mishits it, it probably goes in, but it's right down the throat. Kasper Schmeichel is standing thinking, don't put it beside me, and a glorious chance, and then Arnie Engels has been taken off because of that slip.
Yeah, and it nearly, very nearly, cost his side the game. Arnie Engels not making an elegant job of standing in it right back there, so he's been hooked. Colby Donovan is on, 85 minutes on the clock. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. Goal kick to the home side, taken by Shamal George, high up into the night sky. Is there a goal in the last 5 minutes of this football match? Celtic trying to build through midfield. Now they come with Rio Hatate, flees it through to Daizen Maeda. It's a great ball. Maeda goes down again and keeps his feet. Daizen Maeda, great blocking tackle by St Mirren. Is it a foul there? It's been given St Mirren's way. I was about to call a corner kick, but at one point it looked like Daizen Maeda was going to fall to his feet. He's limping. He managed to stay up. He was in on goal, and a last ditch tackle saved the day for St Mirren.
Alex Gogic, how he hasn't brought Daizen Maeda down or touched him. He was sliding around his back, he was jumping over his leg, he was doing his best not to get in contact with him, but he managed to do enough just to stall him, which meant then that Miguel Freckleton could make up the ground and lunge into a tackle. I mean, I said it earlier, last ditch tackles and lunges, they've done so many or made so many in the last 15 minutes. It's incredible, and somehow Celtic haven't even managed to get a shot and goal.
We've had just about everything in this football match, with one big exception. Game just needs a goal. We have 8 minutes left in which to find one, because there are 4 of the regulation 90. We'll have 4 minutes of time added on, so there is still plenty of time, and both sides look pretty hungry to try and find a winner.
What's the XG update, Kennedy?
The XGs, I'll need to go and check them.
No, it's been a really fascinating second half. You see again, just for that chance that Maeda goes through, a wonderful ball on the half volley, side-footed through, slip through, perfect weight for Maeda from Hatate. You see that connection when they're close together in the park. They have that. It's so valuable for Celtic, the final third. They just haven't quite been able to back it up with the finish.
There's a possibility here for St Mirren. They have a free kick which is a long way out, but it's going to be chipped now towards the edge of the Celtic penalty area. Loads of overloads at the back, one of which is Alex Gogic for St Mirren. The ball's hacked off Nygren. St Mirren inside the penalty area. Nice touch there from Phillips. The shot comes in. That's clattered off, I think, a couple of St Mirren bodies. It's going to be a goal kick to Celtic. XG's 1.51 for St Mirren, 0.65 for Celtic.
I don't really remember Shamal George having to make a save, you know, for all the Celtic pressure and the improvement in the second half. And it may be tempting fate, but he hasn't had a really big save to make.
Here comes Celtic down the right hand side with Luke McCowan, close now to the byline, thinks about delivering instead. He tries to play a reverse ball to Colby Donovan and plays the ball straight out the park. Goal kick, St Mirren, right in front of the Celtic fans as well.
Luke McCowan cutting in his favoured left foot. Donovan on the overlap, just mistimes the pass. He overhits it. He's out for a goal kick to St Mirren. But Shamal Jordan, talk about him making saves. He's got a lot to thank his defenders for. Stephen talked about it. Some of the defensive blocks to a man from St Mirren throughout the second half have been outstanding.
Well, at the moment, Celtic can thank the goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel for standing tall in front of Declan John. That's why it's still St Mirren 0, Celtic 0 as we approach the final minute and a half of the regulation 90, after which we will have at least 4 minutes of time added on. It's St Mirren coming forward. They've got a new lease of life. Celtic are rocking at the moment. They're having to defend, which Austin Trusty will try and do just now, and they're trying to pass the ball out from the back, and Nygren goes back to Trusty. St Mirren doing what they've done pretty much all match and put on a really effective, impressive press. Celtic have played the ball out to the right back though, Colby Donovan, one of the numerous substitutes that have come on, and Donovan has slipped, and he's nearly done exactly the same as Arnie Engels did 5 minutes ago. He just about keeps his feet, and Celtic just about keep possession, but St Mirren have hassled him out of it once again. Really good play from the home side. 89 minutes on the clock. St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. Both sides showing lots of eagerness and energy. There's a nice ball forward looking for Declan John. He's not going to get there though. Good stuff from Dane Murray up towards Reo Hatate, but he's dispossessed, and he's then fouled the young man. That's Fraser Taylor taking the foul from Reo Hatate, and he just gives the Celtic man a pat on the back.
That isn't something you see often from Reo Hatate, is it? Going after someone, he gives the ball away, and that kind of sharp reaction. Fraser Taylor's actually done okay since he came on. It was a big call from Stephen Robinson. The game's so quick and physical, you just wonder, does it suit him? But he's had a couple of nice little touches.
Yeah, in the 2 moments that he's had the ball under pressure, he showed a real composure about him, and because of that you now get a chance to put the ball in Celtic's box.
The 90 minutes have come and gone. St Mirren have a free kick that's going to be played now in towards the Celtic goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel, who comes for it and misses. The 4 minutes start now. There's a wonderful sliding tackle from Killian Phillips, who asked the St Mirren fans across on that stand, what do you think about that? They liked it. We're into the 4 minutes of time added on as Celtic try and build through midfield, but once again the St Mirren press pushes them back all the way to the green-shirted figure of Kasper Schmeichel, who made that key save from Declan John late in the match to keep Celtic at 0-0. Is there a last gasp late winner in this for someone? We have 3.5 minutes in which to try to find a goal, otherwise this will finish goalless, and St Mirren once again pushing Celtic back. You almost sense that Celtic are struggling for ideas at the moment. Dane Murray thinks about going long. He might have to because he doesn't really have a pass on. Nygren takes a touch. He's going to be crowded out though. Mika Mandron's done well there. Here comes St Mirren. Keanu Bacchus has done well. Now is there a chance? Shot comes in, save from Kasper Schmeichel. Offside flag's gone up once again. Well, that was Jonah Ayunga, the substitute for St Mirren. Did well, took the ball in. Nice shot, well saved, diving low to his right hand side, Kasper Schmeichel. But the offside flag had gone up in any case, which is why it still remains St Mirren 0, Celtic 0. A minute and a half into 4 minutes of time added on.
It was well worked from St Mirren when they turned the ball over. I don't know what Dane Murray's doing at this stage in the game. Drives out with the ball and then proceeds to play a 5-yard straight ball into Colby Donovan. It's such an easy pressing trigger from a St Mirren point of view.
If there is a winner in this match, either side has 2 minutes to try and find it. Celtic with the free kick pretty much on the halfway line as the clock ticks towards 92 minutes. Kevin Clancy is signalling for another substitute because St Mirren want to bring another player on. Liam Donnelly will come on for the last couple of minutes for St Mirren. Keanu Bacchus gets a round of applause from the home fans. He's put in a power of work. Keanu Bacchus, he and Killian Phillips have been excellent in the heart of that St Mirren midfield. He's taking his sweet time to come off because I think St Mirren would maybe settle for this point now, given that time is running out and Celtic have a free kick on the halfway line. 92 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, meaning 90 seconds remain in which either side can try and find a late dramatic winner. Celtic have given the ball away, so can St Mirren try and break here? Well, the Saints have given it straight back to Celtic. Well, Rio Hatate's just battered into the ball there, tried to kick it anywhere. That was a bit clumsy. Nygren picks it up for Celtic. He's fouled. This may well be the last action of the match. It's a free kick to Celtic. It's midway inside the St Mirren half. Benjamin Nygren wants to take it, and Celtic want to throw everybody forward. In the Celtic half, there is one player, goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel. Everyone else is inside St Mirren territory. 93 minutes on the clock. Here comes the free kick. Lofted header is easily taken by the St Mirren goalkeeper Shamal George. I fancy that will pretty much be that, unless George can launch maybe one last attack for St Mirren. 93 and a half minutes on the clock. This one looks like it might finish 0-0, especially with that goal kick from George. It's gone absolutely nowhere near a St Mirren player. And now, can Celtic get the ball forward? Donovan thinks about going long. Instead he goes down this right hand side to Luke McCowan. Final few seconds of the game, 15 seconds left of time added on. Can McCowan deliver the ball into area? He can't. He goes back instead to Austin Trusty. He looks for options. On the left hand side is Yang. This will be the last move of the match, surely. Yang on the left for Celtic. Can he deliver the ball? In comes the cross, headed into the air by St Mirren. Still Celtic keep up the pressure. Kobe Donovan to Callum McGregor. Will McGregor try the shot? He does! What a goal from Callum McGregor! Oh my goodness! With the left foot, it's an absolute rocket into the top left-hand corner of the net. What a dramatic finish to this match as the Celtic fans spill over the advertising hoardings to crowd the Celtic captain, who with the last kick of this game has made the scoreline here in Paisley with one of the best hits he'll have in his career, surely. St Mirren 0, Celtic 1.
Incredible from Callum McGregor. Kobe Donovan sets it to it, takes a magnificent touch with outside of his left foot away from the oncoming St Mirren player, and absolute sends a pile driver into the top corner. It's been a fantastic second half, Callum McGregor. He's came up with a huge moment for Celtic.
It's heartbreak for St Mirren, isn't it? They put so much into the game. We always said it may take a moment of brilliance, something special to try and win the game, and boy, does Callum McGregor deliver. The minute he gets it out of his foot, the minute he pulls the trigger, I just looked at the top corner and thinking this is going to fly in. If he connects with it the way he can, it's going to fire in, and it absolutely whizzes in. The bit that will get St Mirren, it was 94 and 7 seconds when the ball hit the back of the net. Possibly there was a substitution that maybe delayed it slightly, but Celtic won't care. Have they played well? Probably not. Have they been at their best? Nowhere near it. But it looks once again as if they've found a way to win a game of football.
What a way to win a football match, and boy have we been spoiled for goals this week. We saw the Scott McTominay overhead kick. We saw Kieran Tierney bending one in from about 30 yards. We saw a goal from the halfway line from Kenny McLean, and Callum McGregor has just blasted one into the top corner from outside the penalty area like an absolute rocket. The Celtic fans are still celebrating. The St Mirren fans are still stunned. We're playing into the 96th minute here in Paisley. And there goes the final whistle. Celtic do it again. They always seem to find a way to win, and everybody is crowding around the Celtic captain Callum McGregor. The Celtic fans celebrate. St Mirren, who'd put so much into the game, had the chance to win it maybe themselves with Declan John, who looked into the whites of Kasper Schmeichel's eyes and hit the ball straight at the big Danish goalkeeper, who's getting a couple of fist bumps from his teammates because they know that he kept them in the game at that point. There was a disallowed goal that we think would have been attributed maybe to Conor McMenamin, or possibly an own goal from Liam Scales. That was disallowed, and again that kept Celtic at 0-0. They kept coming forward, they kept pressing, and with virtually the last kick of the ball, Callum McGregor, with that trusty left foot of his, scores one of the best goals of his career. That's why the Celtic fans are celebrating. Celtic cut Hearts' lead at the top of the table to 4 points, but Hearts are at Pittodrie tomorrow, and here, as the Celtic fans go and acclaim and applaud their fans and get the acclaim of the Celtic supporters, it finishes in Paisley with Callum McGregor front and centre leading the cheers. St Mirren 0, Celtic 1.
On digital.